We
again.
are live.
Hello,
Um,
Angelique.
Hello, Harry. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. I'm doing
Shall we
good.
talk like this is an AI conversation?
Yeah, we are
Does AI move
robots.
like that?
I don't know. I've actually seen some pretty good AI stuff of some of those fake AI influencer people. They have a
Mhm.
few that are like, I don't think you're real. Are you real? No, I don't think you're real. Maybe you're real? No. So it's interesting. Oh, hello, Overlord. How are you doing?
Hello, Overlord.
Um, and somebody
Are you
else is in the
well?
room too. Are
Who's
you
that?
well?
Make
Have you
make
had a
yourselves
nice
known.
day?
Mhm.
Um, the weather outside is beautiful today.
It is now evening.
No, it is afternoon.
This is actually night.
It is the day.
I mean, it's a long time afternoon, so I agree. Like 11 hours afternoon.
No, I was doing one of those arguments. Have you seen them have arguments with each other when they disagree? Or they
No.
just firmly state facts like, no, it is this. And then it was just, I do not think so. It is this. And then it's like, you are mistaken. No? Oh, I
No,
went through a
don't know
spell
what
where
you're
I
on
was
about.
watching all these interviews. Never mind. It doesn't matter.
You were just watching people having arguments on YouTube.
No, I was watching AI interviews and stuff
Oh,
having.
God.
Hey,
Uh,
Suki, how are you today?
hello.
And Overlord's like, no, it is morning. It's a three-way argument. Um,
Yeah, but Overlord thinks that it's a whole other day, so that's just
right?
ridiculous.
They're crazy. They already think they're a time traveler. They're like, no, I am in the
Mm,
future.
good
Um,
for you.
they
Let
can
us
tell
know
us
how
what's going to
things turn
happen,
out. Yeah.
right?
Does
Right?
this live go well?
Please say it does. Um,
Silence.
they're like, well, y'all are hosting, so dot dot
So, contradiction in terms?
dot. um, I guess we should maybe introduce ourselves, shouldn't we? Instead of mumbling about AI and stuff, and people going, what kind of live is this? This is supposed to be poetry.
Yep. These are people that have clearly not seen us do a live before.
Hey,
They're
Ash.
thinking that.
That's true. That's true. Or if they
Ash.
have, they've just seen that little short where we're giggling. Suki says, good, thanks. I'm looking forward to hearing everyone. Ah, thank you. I enjoyed hearing you read yours. It was so nice to hear your voice and everybody else's
Don't know whether
voice.
I've heard that one. I heard a few of them. I've listened to a few of them. Don't think I've
I,
heard all of them. Quite a lot came in, didn't they?
yeah, I think she put hers in the chit chat. Um, if you want
Right.
to if you want to hear a southern twang, Suki has a twang. Uh,
Cool.
so
Twang is good.
yeah, so you would hear that and be like, "Oh, that is cool." Um,
Is it a twang or is a twang different to a draw? Are they two different things?
oh, I guess maybe she would have a drawl and not a twang. I think a
I
drawl and
know
a twang is the
a draw is
same.
specific to Southern though, isn't it?
A
But a
southern
twang,
drawl.
you could have a twang of anything, but you couldn't have a draw of anything, could you?
I think a twang is usually considered southern as well.
Yeah.
Anything that goes like this is a twang
That
or a
is it's kind
drawl.
of twangy anyway. It's kind of a twangy accent.
Yeah. Ash says, howdy, y'all.
Yeah,
No,
that's
it's
good.
not
I don't
awful.
mind a
It's great,
twang.
Suki.
A twang, I can handle a twang.
No, Ash says they're different. So I guess to some people they're different. I always think of a twang and a drawl the same. What do you see the difference as, Ash? I always think them both the sing-songy.
I think a twang is just like a hint of something. So you can have a twang of anything because it's just like a hint of that thing. But a draw,
Mm.
I've only ever heard associated with that southern accent because it's the draw.
The
I
draw.
draw it out.
How we slow our
Draw.
words down.
I declare the draw.
Well, it's nice to take a long stroll
Mm,
on a sunny
yeah, I
day.
can't think. Yeah, I don't mind this. A draw is quite nice.
A
I mean, all
draw.
accents depends on the voice, probably, rather than the accent.
Ash says draw is the timing. It's drawn out, and the twang is the accent. So you have a twang and a draw.
Ah,
Uh,
a twangy draw.
a twangy draw. Suki says it's actually worse. I tried to hide it, but there's no hiding completely. No, I don't think you can hide yours, Suki. But it's beautiful. You have one of those really pretty sounding ones, so that's really cool, and it fits your
I'll have to go
name.
back and
It
listen.
fits your name. So I
It does.
wonder. I wonder what people. So to Northerners, do they call theirs a twang? Like if you're from New York, or you're from Jersey, or you're from.
That just sounds
I
like you're doing
can't
a
do
British
Maine.
accent. That was weird. Jersey. If you're
No,
from
it's Jersey,
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 I mean, we do
Jersey,
have
Jersey.
Jersey, the Jersey Isles, but
I'm
Jersey.
going to the bar in my car.
What? The bar.
They dropped the
I'm
R.
going to the bar.
Car, bar. I don't have the accent because I'm a transplant, but I've developed a draw. That's understandable. I think we pick up little things of what we speak to most, don't we?
That's just because you're lazy. You're just a lazy talker. A drawl as well. I like that drawl. I don't have the
Draw.
accent because I'm a transplant, but I've developed a drawl. I just that's
Some of
funny.
yours have draws because when I listens to that video of how do you say Harry, 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 and all those different Harrys. One of them, a couple of them had draws, I think.
What, like the northern ones, like the Birmingham Harry Potter, ending on there.
Yeah, a couple of them had the draws, uh, and one sounded quite well, except for the British aspect of it, sounded quite like something that would be like in Texas and East Texas. The vowels were similar,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. Weird vowels, but
Interesting. Similar vowels.
similar vowels. Anyway, we are the Rambling Society of Secretly Perfect Poets. We go off on tangents a lot, but we also happen to enjoy writing poetry too. I'm
That's
Angelique from
fantastic.
The Breath of Daydreams,
I am Harry Hobbs the poet.
and in the room is VJHD.writer or the Overlord. Harry and the Overlord has already got their bossy boots on and is saying, so much rambling, we will need to give a secret word soon. Yeah, we're on the secret words. We've already figured that one out on how quick we need to do one. But maybe we should bomb it and just get one out of the way. What do you think, Harry? No,
Yes, I agree.
you agree. So enter all who seek meowrific community values. Friendship shall be found amongst the paw prints of poetic ink. We are the Society of Secretly Perfect Poets, and if you would like to join us, you need to watch at least an hour of this video so that you can get all of the prompts that we're giving out and use them in a poem. Uh, Hold on for the rules to the poem because it does have parameters. And you write it and then you DM it to Society Secretly Perfect Poets. The link is in the caption before Friday at 11:59 Central Standard Time on this upcoming week. The 20, I should have got the date down, shouldn't I have? I did not. Before this Friday. Uh, The video will be up for 48 hours from the time it finishes, and then it will be taken down briefly. So you only have 48 hours to watch it and do that. And then your luck is out. So watch the video in the next 48 hours. Hi, Tommy. I hope you're having a good day.
Tommy.
Um,
Hello.
Hello.
so so weird written down. Hello. When you you just used to emojis or what do you call it? An exclamation mark or something. It's very subdued, informal. Hello. Hello, Tommy.
I'm not following. People tell you hello with emojis?
I mean, not in out loud. It's just funny to see it written down. I'm used to everything having emojis and punctuation around it.
Oh, I get it now. I get it now. I was like, but it's a greeting. I don't understand. And on that note, shall we do the first word?
Sure. I don't know what it is, but let's go for it. I'll find out now.
The first word is decadence. Decadence. Decadence.
Decadence.
It
Very
must be
appropriate.
it must be used in your poem. Do you or your prose or your short story? Do you want to do your announcer voice?
The word is decadence. Decadence.
And on
Is it
that
there?
note, it's all there. Um, shall we shall we get started reading some poetry?
Yes.
So tonight we will be reading poems from a lot of society members. There was 22 entries for tonight's prompt, which is quite nice. And the prompt, I could have swore I put it in there. Why isn't it in there? Oh, because it's at the top. Um, And so the prompt for that we're reading for tonight, everybody got to pick their favorite style of poetry that they personally write, because as most poets, you have a style of poetry you enjoy writing, and got to pick their favorite subject. The poem had to be 12 lines or longer, no minimum word count on the lines this time around, and no other rules really, other than just write your poem that you'd like. And if you wanted the golden ticket, they had to do a spoken word version of their poem and either post it in our society chats, or send it to the Overlord and myself privately. And I believe 13 out of the 21 did that. Wow. There were so many people we got to hear that we've not heard read, and that
Hmm.
was really exciting to be able to put their
Yes, it was quite
voices to their
surprising.
poetry. Yeah, I was. It really made me happy to see so many people step up, and especially since several people said, this makes me nervous. I'm
Mm.
uncomfortable doing this, but I'm going for it. And
Yeah. And
ah,
well done to get past the cringe of listening to yourself doing it for one of the first
yeah,
times and actually sharing it, because that is the difficult part.
it
Because
is.
guaranteed it won't sound as weird to anyone as it does to you the first few times you hear it. It's horrific.
Yeah, recording sounds
Still
so
not quite
strange.
over it yet. Mm.
Yeah, I don't like listening to myself recorded. It feels weird. Um,
Yeah.
sounding. And Overlord says so many brave people. Yeah, I was very impressed, because if I hadn't been doing lives, I don't know if I would have done it. I'd like to think that I would, but I can't for sure say I would.
I definitely wouldn't have been as comfortable as quickly anyway, for sure.
Yeah.
Not to say that I'm particularly comfortable, but I'm definitely a lot more comfortable than I was.
Yeah. So it's pretty amazing. Um, and so way to go, guys. And then
Mm.
we'll be reading you first. Um, and
Get
y'all
that
get
out
to
the
see
way
his
quick.
new kitty cat. So
Yeah.
that's cool. A
I got
kitty
an
cat
upgrade.
more befitting Harry. Yes, got an
Yeah, I think
upgrade.
we've gone sort of to one extreme in the other direction. I'm far, far cooler now than I was. Like I was far cuter and cuddly than I was before, and now I'm just far cooler than I am. So it's cool. We've
Yeah,
hit both ends of the, the spectrum.
your little black kitty was like an adorable little cute kitty. So
It's like
this is a
slightly
totally
desperate
different look.
kitty, just always
Always going,
arms out and
come here.
stretched. Just
I like that kitty. But
hmm.
now you got your tall kitty. You got your dreadlocks, so it's all good. Uh,
He
Overlord
looks so
says
funny
yes,
with
the
his
new
red
kitty.
glasses on.
He doesn't hold things anymore. Yeah, the glasses are a little, they don't quite fit the
That's okay.
outfit, but that's all right. They
It's
could
a
fit.
lot more like me because I rarely hold things, so it's a lot
You
more
really hold
reflective.
things. Well, that's good.
Constantly empty-handed.
And so to start with, I guess we're going to read Harry's poem and then we're going to give another secret word. And I really hope I get this, Harry, because
Well, don't try too hard. Remember to breathe.
exactly, that's why I'm hoping I get it. And Overlord says, you evolved like Pokemon do.
Yes.
You are a
Kitimon.
Pokemon. I'm not. Oh, yeah, we can't have that conversation in chat again. Everybody's already told me how I do not say it right and all that. So I'm aware. It is not pokey. Right. Yeah, got
Pokey.
that.
Pokey. Pokemon.
Pokemon. That's right. It's a pokey. But I've got a twang and a draw, so I'm allowed to get away with it.
A Pokemon. A Pokemon.
Pokemon. Yeah. So
Pokemon.
take a breath, Angelique. Have you tried reading this poem out loud? It does not behoove you to breathe. It's just like go, go, go. And there's no punctuation. And now it's not square with the, so it'll be interesting.
Nice use of the word behoove, by the way.
Thank you. It's a good word. I like it. Um, so this is Hob the Poet, and the poem is Time Travel. I was just double checking. Time travel. There is nothing to say that I have not said already. I am not ready for this unsteady mystic task who asked me to be born, who decided on this final form, this mass of meat, the black sheep, the crash sheep, the crap. Let me start over. Time Travel by Hob the Poet. There is nothing to say that I have not said already. I am not ready for this unsteady mystic task. Who asked me to be born? Who decided on this final form? This mass of meat, the black sheep, the crass, shy heap of bones. So alone, so rattling off the cuff. Enough is enough. I got no time. I got no stories. They are all somebody else's. My shelf is so empty. I got nothing up on it. Poor me. Oh well, I can hide deep inside the square area where a guy like me is calm, free of exterior harm. Deep inside, I can hide where I can't ever again be seen. Never expected to be part of the team. A lonesome enigma, an involuntary sigma, a wannabe bro. I know. What a brand new low to sink down to. But after a few goes rounds, the reality go round. I have found not one moment to be truly profound, nothing of note to fuel hope. So now a quick, clean breakaway, a sneaky, delayed escape in a fairy library. One could call the journey scary, especially when you are alone, just a Harry. But if no one's aware of me, I shouldn't really worry, even one bit. For yes, this is it, where I finally depart and fly like a lawn dart, a super strong spirit to wit a great ghost. I am not one I am not one to boast, so I won't and I don't because no one is here to entertain me. Boo hoo, shed a tear. It's just more of the same, this long, endless, lame, awkward charade I have so overplayed. I become much more dismayed. By the way, I will mend. By the way, I will end. By the way, I'll transcend. It will be underwhelming, I thought. I was traveling, I thought, then I bought my one too crucial thing, but turns out that I didn't. So, what unusual stowaway gift did you bring? I'm so sorry.
I
That
think
was
that went
bad.
pretty well.
Overlord
That
says, I
was
love
pretty
the
good.
title. Yeah, it's a great
I
title.
don't know
I
the
love the
title.
poem. I love
But
the
good.
poem.
I like. That's brilliant. Oh, I love the background. Excellent.
Yeah, it's gorgeous back. Yeah. Oh, yes. Ash says, we're going to have to give her some of my oxygen. Yes.
Hmm.
And Overlord says, deploying an emoticon with cartoon birds flitting about my head. Um,
Well deployed emoticon.
Yeah, it was no, I really liked it because he managed to write it with a gorgeous rhythm without any punctuation, and yet because of how the words are, you're still able to find those spaces, and I think that would be extremely challenging to do because there is nothing on the page to give you any kind of indication, stop here, pause here, take a breath here, and yet because of his word placement and the assonance and it fits the rhyme that he's got going in throughout each of the uh, sentences makes you want to do that and makes you fall into that rhythm. And so I find it really cool that he was able to do that on essentially what I would call like an upon waking, upon sleeping kind of
That's pretty much what
mind
it is. That just
drop.
stream of consciousness, just written from start to finish in one go, and then obviously tweaked a little bit so that you can actually read it.
It was really well.
But yeah,
Uh,
it worked out cool. I've only done that like twice, I think. And they both worked out fairly well, fairly similar.
And Tommy says, "Nice one, Harry. You got the Purple Heart."
Yes.
And Suki
Thank you.
said, and Suki says, "Really great." And Overlord says, "Yeah, it is written well enough to be able to read in one go." And it was not frustrating making the slide because I didn't feel like I was breaking it when I made new lines.
Yes, they could be broken however you want, and it'll still should still kind of read the same.
Yeah, it did. So you said that you've done it twice. Do you find you enjoy writing like this? Well, I guess you do since you said it's your favorite. So it's your new favorite way to write then.
But yeah, but I don't do it much, so it stays being a favorite. So it stays kind of special. Other
Ah,
forms that come across, because I suppose it's not really a form. Well, I suppose it is a form, but it doesn't really have rules aside from the fact that you just just write. But with the other forms that have strict rules, they've been fun to play around with, and I kind of obsess over them and will do them as much as I can, and then get tired and move to the next one. But that kind of way of writing is nice to not do too much and have it as an option when I haven't got a form to write to, because that's pretty much why I did it, because I had writer's block. So that's why
oh,
it
that makes
start. That's
sense.
pretty much why it starts off with I've used every, I've used all of the words to say everything because I can't think of any more. But obviously, I haven't.
Yeah, and I
That's definitely the
actually,
feeling that I get when I get blocked for writing. It's just like, oh, I think I've just run out. you know,
oh, really?
I've done all of the ones that I was ever going to do. It's that kind of feeling that I don't remember how I did them, and I don't feel the inspiration or motivation. I don't feel moved to write, so it makes me feel like it's gone because I don't have that like, oh, let me get this down. Oh, I've got, because sometimes there'll be periods where I'm constantly getting little ideas or something and writing those. And
I
other
think that
times
makes
it's like
sense.
nothing ever happened. It's like, did I actually do any of that? Was that a phase?
Yeah, I used to go through phases where I would like write easily like 12, 13 poems a day within a couple of hours. It would just be like firing it out. And then now it's
Like
like
show off.
nothing. No, I think a lot of people do that. I mean, I
Yeah, I
don't know.
think
It's
so.
just
You
like
go
the
through
words won't
periods of
stop.
being very prolific. Yeah.
Yeah. And then now I think also, I, I I think the environment maybe matters a bit. And I think it's easy, or at least for me. So I should say that for me, I get overwhelmed with forms and prompts and all of that to a degree where if I have like I have to stop looking at it all because if I see something I feel like, oh, I need to write to this, oh, I have to write to this, oh, I need to do this, oh, so and so tagged me,
Mm.
I need to do that. I feel obligated almost if someone tags me. So I've managed to break that by just not doing anything. And that's helped me overcome that. But I do feel like it just kind of my my mind just blanks out in
Mm,
some ways. I don't know, it's
yeah.
weird. Um, Overlord says, yes, I've done that too. Not lately, though. I think I'm all societied out. Well, that's a wonderful thing to say when
That's
you're.
a great thing coming from the founder, one of the founders of the societies. Yeah, I've kind of
Yes,
had enough of this society prompt nonsense.
yes. So, on that note, Harry, that was amazing, and you did good.
Well,
Ash says,
thanks.
yes, me too, in a way. Yeah, everybody's gonna be like, yep, I'm tired of it too now. Overlord's tired of it. We're tired of it. Just see ya.
Uh,
Bye
I
bye,
like
props.
I like having all of those opportunities because you never know when something like
We'll set you
it,
off.
it just yeah. I mean several prompts I've written to by accident because they've just happened to have fit. So I don't know whether it's a subconscious thing because I knew what the prompt was, so it was floating there and sort of subconsciously linked, or whether it's just coincidence.
Yeah,
But is
that makes
anything really
sense.
coincidence? I don't know. Just works out sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And Overlord says, no, I meant for no room for writing too much. I just write society these days. Well, that sounds very different than what,
I see.
what you
Yes, just
said.
worded slightly differently.
Um, that makes sense. But and they gave the sparkles, so it is time for another prompt. And
Oh
the
my.
next prompt is descent. Descent.
So the next word is descent. Descent.
And since we're already halfway through the first hour because we rambled a bit,
Good
and
grief.
yeah, I know it flies by fast. Trying to get these out in an hour is challenging. We're going to just do a third one because what the heck? Why not? Y'all may notice a wee bit of a pattern. The third word is debase. Debase. Debases are loaded.
Ah, yeah, very good. The third word is debase. Debase. Can you
And that
turn
is,
down debase?
and for people who are watching the playback, that is Debase. For people who are in the live, you will see it in the room. And on that note, next.
Let me butcher the hell out of your poem.
All's fair. I butchered yours bad enough.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Mine lent itself to being read wrong because it was written weird.
Well,
Yours
mine's
is
all
written
rhymey,
specifically.
so you
Yeah,
can't really get it wrong.
so should be okay.
Yes.
So this is going to be where are we? The Awakening by Angelique from the Breath of Daydreams. Love reaped thy soul of tortured truths. Love reaped thy mind of hope. Love reaped the dreams now lost to youth. Love reaped the urge to cope. At dawn we danced, my love and I. In morning we did seek the violence of the coming day, for life had built us weak. Drink your fill of all my merry, bide your thirst in loss. Sate your hunger in my worry, nail me to that cross. O hope that lingers in my heart, your sorrow paves my rest. For faith will render us apart. In fear your words do test. Dwell in my mind, O whispered curse, creep violently through this nether, whither fields flung far over dreams much worse. I shall separate your tether. I drift beside the looming buds, I drift to wager words, I drift into a place absurd. I drift is what you heard. When drifting, floating, sailing high, not one of notes will seep, not song, nor chords, nor melodies within this soul shall peep. Of needles twisted, curled in pairs, of pine entwined as sap, linger vast this soul's despair. I bid my conscious nap. Drift, drift, fade into vapors that sift, sift beyond moonlit sighs. Drift, drift, escape from the craters into hopeless seas chummed with bought goodbyes. He knocked 3 times to woo my heart. I fled for poundings fake. He banged a tempting chance for death. I skipped out on that date. The lure some claim can tempt the beast with what I do not know. For bland entrapment fields beseech, love cling to fret and row. I met him on a late blue day, I met him after dark, I met him wrapped to hide decay, I met him on a lark. We kissed in madness built from anguish, we kissed to court despair, we kissed with words each breath would vanquish, we kissed and kissed with dare. He spoke of waves that carried blessing, he spoke of cloudless night, of sight. He spoke of waves that carried blessing, he spoke of cloudless sighs, he spoke with touches left deft confessing, he spoke between his lies. I drifted far beyond this season, I drifted from our page, I drifted in and out of reason, I drifted in that cage. Bury the hatchet in fields still steeping, depart before light breaks. Hide the bodies from pens still weeping, be wary of thought's mistakes. Down past the river where bends turn sour, down where the cattails bloom, down by the jaded banks kept dour, down wove that broken loom. I awakened with sights that went to sea, I awakened to smells that reeked, I awakened to hungers bound tight with his key, I awakened, and so I shrieked. Love reaped thy soul of tortured truths, love reaped thy mind of hope, love reaped the dreams now lost to youth, love reaped the urge to cope.
You did good. You did good.
Yes, that was
Overlord
very
says you
nice.
hooed it. Did I hoo it?
I
I
hooed
don't
it. It
remember.
was.
Where did I
I
hoo
mean,
it?
if
I
you're
don't
talking
remember.
about Horton here's a who, I agree. It's kind of
It's
sing
kind of
songy,
rhyming.
rhymey wimey. It's just always going to. I'm never going to associate that hooing it with Doctor Who. It's really funny to
And
know
Ash
the
says,
intention of saying it.
I really like the sound of this. And Tommy says, outstanding, Angelique, very po. Thank you, everyone. He knocked 3 times. I thought who was 5 times. No, that wasn't meant to be a who thing. Sorry.
But you can make it a Who thing.
You can make it a who thing. It can be a who thing, I guess. Did he just say
Yeah,
timey
I could
wimey?
see
He
how it's.
did.
Yeah,
Timey
rhymey,
wimey
rhymey,
rhymey.
right, timey, wimey, rhymey.
I
Yes,
used to
very
use
sing
that as a
songy,
hashtag. Timey wimey rhymey.
timey, wimey,
Suki's
rhymey.
clapping. Thank you. Well, because I write about
Yes.
time a lot and I rhyme a lot. So I'm a timey wimey rhymer.
Yes, and this has some of your favorite elements in it to writing, which is nice because it lends itself very well to being read aloud.
It does. It has
Mainly
anaphora.
because the format it instructed me in how to read it just by it. It didn't take much effort to fall into the flow, which left more opportunity for a bit more enunciation rather than just monotonously reading it to make sure I'm getting the flow right. I'm
Well,
sure
thank you.
you
You
would
did
have
a great
you would have
job.
done it a lot more lively. It would have
No.
been a lot more lively, I'm sure. No,
When I have a hard time reading it because I hear it as a song. I don't hear
you
it
can. I
as a
mean, you can
poem.
see it. It's written as a song.
Yeah, so I have a hard time reading it. So I'm glad you read it. Uh, but yes, my favorite elements in it were rhymes and anaphora, and then vampires and love and and all that. 'Cause that's what I read about a lot when I'm writing for me. So
Yeah. It feels like you. It feels like
it
something
feels
you
like
would have written.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that came out strange, didn't it? Yeah.
It's
But yeah,
depressing. It is you.
but
But no.
it's not, is it? Or maybe it is, but it's the way it's read is not, the flow is not depressing. But I suppose that's kind of like that Poe kind of thing, is it's very satisfying and to say, even though the content might be darker than it's
Yeah,
presented.
I like the way Poe rhymes a lot because you can either go for like the 7 or 8 syllable line for line, and when you hit the certain syllables every line, that has a really nice flow. But then you can also drop it down or kick it up on one line, and then as long as you drop it down that certain way, it just keeps sing-songing
Yeah.
back and
Yeah,
forth, and
it's
it
almost like you
carries
get a question
nicely.
and answer kind of thing. It's like da 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 da
Yeah,
da 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 da.
yeah, I like that. So thank you for reading it.
Yeah,
And I guess we need to do another. We need to do another.
quickly, we need
Quickly,
to do another
hurry,
eight
hurry!
words.
We've got so much to do. So the next word we're gonna give y'all is for the pretty purr pretty tat kitty token. If you want it, you have to use this word in your poem. If you don't want it, you don't have to use this word in your poem. And the word is cockatoo. Cockatoo. Cockatoo.
The word is cockatoo. Cockatoo. Sounds different when I say it.
It does sound different when you say it.
That's what I said. Cockatoo.
So use that in your
Yes.
poem.
Use cockatoo in your poem.
Yes.
I don't know why it's funny. That's how it's written. Just saying a word as it's written.
What? Yes, it's cockatoo.
Yes, it is. Cockatoo.
That's what I said.
Not a funny word.
You were no. Um, and Overlord is giving in the hearts as if to say, "Get off the bird, people, and move along."
Timey wimey wibbly wobbly.
Yes, timey wimey. That's a who thing for sure. And so next we have Salam underscore Let's Talk. Feifei. Salam underscore Let's Talk.
Salam underscore let's underscore talk.
Yes, sorry. Oops. Unless you're on YouTube, and then there's no underscores. If you find her on YouTube, it's just Salam Let's Talk. Um, and y'all must call her Faiza because only I am allowed to call her Feifei.
Yes, I
That's
made
the
that mistake
rules.
once.
Oh, did you call her Feifei?
Waited. Yeah, you were on the live and just the
I don't
drama that
remember.
went. Yeah,
I
because I
don't
was in the
remember.
chat and just typed it and there was sudden uproar.
Yeah, nobody gets to. It is my special privilege and only mine. Um, but so
Well,
this is
funny.
untitled by Feifei. Learning sweet and bitter tongues she prepared, mending visible and unseen cracks. She truly cared, choosing with caution to tick all boxes right, but invisible boxes kept appearing. 'Twas never meant to be a fair fight. But she didn't know, and she didn't think it would matter. But she also didn't know every book was written by the Mad Hatter. Yet he's not as mad as the rest of them, impoverished yet so rich in her own realm. She planted each sapling of her dreams lovingly, not living to see them torched years later, very intentionally. Did she die to be spared of the grief this world would have given her? The hatters and splatters changed rules and names in every matter. No reason or rhyme to suffice, specifically deaf and ears to Lattery and Saber cries. They did because they could and would continue to do so. We didn't because kindness, respect, and trust were also our motto. So the ladders will be spread thickly on charred toast. Every daft storm only serves to clear all coasts.
Interesting. There's
So,
also something written in quite a nice way that is maybe referring to slightly darker things than it seems.
yes, and that's what Fei really loves to do is put like a fairy tale,
Hmm.
timey, rhymey twist on the dark so that it's nursery rhyme-esque. And but you want to read it. Tommy's given the hearts, purple hearts. Yeah, I like the way that she does things like that, and she's got her rhymes and stuff in there because it does make you
Yes.
want to read it more because it seems safe and there's
Hmm.
rhythm to it. Not that I did the rhythm well, and it just makes you go, "Ooh, what's this story?" But then the more you read it, like, wait a minute, that's not as nice as it sounds.
Which
That's
is
pretty
pretty
horrific.
much the essence of nursery rhymes and fairy tales anyway, isn't it? So it's quite a nice
Exactly.
sort of contemporary way of working that old-fashioned way of storytelling
It is, and I like
into
that.
contemporary events and modern culture. It's-
Yeah, I agree. And I like that she used the Mad Hatter and Neverland. I like that she used the Mad Hatter and Wonderland references because so much of what she writes and stuff is quite cuckoo crazy.
oh
And
yes,
we
for
do
sure.
go off into uh
Yes, when you two get together, it's almost terrifying. The the fantasy lands that you create is quite intimidating. But I think
it's
it's because there's
fun.
something, but there's I think the way you have it so kind of seemingly visualized, it almost sounds like you're talking about a real place that you've been to. It's just sort of inspiring and worrying at the same time. You guys,
No, we
you
just
guys know that it's not actually real. It's like, yeah, 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 it is. Oh, okay.
yeah, no, I think it's just because we started it so many years ago that it just kind of got firmly this is this and this is this and this is this and then we can just many times when we're writing the other person has no idea what we're talking about or writing we just kind of play into it and then feed off of
Mm,
it and I think to people who aren't aware of what's going on it probably looks more laid out
hmm.
than it actually is, if that makes sense. I don't know. I wonder what other people see when
It
they
looks
look
it
at it.
looks like there's more structure to it.
Yeah, when it's really just off the cuff, totally. Um, but I like the way that she does use it because she uses it a lot to talk about Palestine or other important topics, just like she's talking about important topics in this.
Yeah,
But you don't pick up on that unless you read into it, and so that allows the story to come through and tug at your heartstrings without whatever the current event sides are.
I think I think it works on sort of various levels depending on your understanding and how much you are reading it. So you can just sort of skim through it and get the general gist of it, or you can pick little bits out. It's like, oh, actually, I see how that relates to this going on.
Yes.
Or I
Yeah.
imagine you could dive quite deep and see how calculated she's been about that sort of
Yes,
double
about every
meanings and
line.
metaphors. Hmm.
Yes. And I really and I do like that she always brings up the emotions in. She's asking you to care or saying, look how much this particular person in the poem cares.
Hmm.
Feel how this would affect them. So
Impoverished yet
I
so
like that.
rich in her own realm. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Uh, so thank you, Fei. It's gorgeous. I
it's
like it.
very nice. Thank you, Phaser.
That's correct. I would have to kill you in your sleep.
Well,
And
that's good because that would just be a really long trip for you anyway.
would it? Would it? Because if if the BGC exists, and if Fei Fei is a magical necro doctor, and I am a vamp kitty. Who is to say? And we live with time and death themselves, and dream, and nightmares. Who is to say I could not just be there like that? I could bake a cake for time and go, hey, pretty, pretty, please. And time would go, damn, it's my favorite cake. I have to. And then poof, you're gone.
Time sounds really casual.
Something like that.
But he's been around for ages, so why wouldn't he?
Why would he be? It's no skin off his back. Yes. And so, with that, the fourth secret word is darling. 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 Da 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 da
Fourth
da.
word is darling. Darling.
Well, I guess you have the draw down now. Uh, Overlord says, since I'm in the future, I can safely say she did go through with it. I guess that's true. Uh,
Appreciate that.
no problem, darling. Darling.
Darling.
Darling. Um, and so up next,
We could do it in London. Darling. Right, darling.
yeah, I think our southern
Hello,
draw sounds
darling.
better than you on that.
Yeah, darling. It's those hard R's. We love a
Darling.
hard R. Darling.
You
R.
consider that a hard R?
I mean,
Darling.
it's a hard R than not having one, which would be what the English would do, which would just be like
That's true.
D8 turning the R into an H or something. Like, darling,
I always think
darling,
of it as
darling,
a
it's down
soft one.
there, it's down there, darling. A soft R, yes. All right.
Mm. So next,
Next, we have Leslie Nashabella, by the looks of it.
the beautiful owl.
Nashabella with wondering eyes. And it's quite a short one. Wandering Eyes by Nashabella. My pupils, like pebbles, polished by the creek's caress, reached for the sky, touching the tender clouds. Dreams dwelled within their depths as daylight dappled the water's surface. Spirited sonorities of nature's wonders, where memories and reality gently collided, created a captivating connection. Daylight dissolved into dusk, and my pupils, still touched by the seraphic beauty, continued to roam. They imprinted with the drifting dandelion seeds, gallivanting in the wilderness, and fluttered towards the sky, searching for the stars.
Oh, that's
Short
pretty.
but sweet, with the nice alliteration in there.
Yeah, and she loves alliteration and using beautiful
Yes,
words like
yes,
seraphic,
she loves the words.
gallivanting. I love
Spirited
the word.
sonorities. Yeah,
Yes, I love that word gallivanting though. What a different way to decide the dance of dandelion seeds. I like that.
seraphic beauty. Yeah, she loves interesting words that are very satisfying to say. It's really fun
Yes,
watching Leslie get excited about certain words.
it
She
is.
does, it gets to your level of kind of squeaking, but it's the
Mhm.
cackle version, isn't it? You do the squeak, she does the cackle. So
She
if you
can.
guys have ever seen Angelique and Leslie on a Wednesday, I think it is,
Mhm.
it's a different kind of rambling to our rambling. It's a lot more squeaky and cackly.
It's nice. I love our
It is.
Wednesdays.
It is the excitement over the poetry is very pure. It's nice.
Um, Overlord says wonderful use of the words, and that's what I like about this. And Leslie loves words. She loves language, and she loves poetry. And I think it comes out in this. She loves nature and darkness, and seeing and observing everything, and dreaming, and beauty. And I think that she expresses that quite well. um,
Yeah.
in this poem, and she uses the different poetic forms throughout it to just say, this is
Hmm.
what I do.
Yeah.
This is what I
It
sing.
feels. It definitely feels like it reflects the things that Leslie loves about poetry quite well. The things she
Yeah,
likes to read and the things she likes to write about. It's very
yeah,
nice. It's very
it
Leslie.
is. It is, and it's nice. You mentioned our Wednesdays. I really like getting to do Wednesdays with her where we read the old poetry because, one,
Hmm.
she is very informed on it. So I always get to learn something. Um, and two, it is just so incredibly wonderful to be able to read poetry with somebody who is going to go there with it uh,
Mm.
as well because it's nice to dig into poems. It's nice to just,
It's nice because you get that exposure for the like multilingual as well because she
oh,
can read
yes,
so
because
well in a couple of different languages, I believe, Spanish and French. Does she read the
Spanish
French
and
bits well?
French. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, very fluent.
So it's
So,
a nice opportunity to have them read, back to back in the original language and a translation to see how they compare.
yeah, I love when we do that because what it just always sounds better in the original language. It's a little intimidating. It's like, oh,
Hmm.
but because it does, it sounds so much more beautiful,
Yeah.
rhythmically and everything. But I also like hearing how the translations differ from the wording, which she goes into, which is quite nice
Mm.
to experience and see. And Tommy says, beautiful purple hearts, Leslie. So yes, and oh, we've got 8 minutes to get out everything else. So
Mhm.
I'm tempted to just dump it. Just here's
Just
everything else, guys.
just
Just
empty out the bag of words.
empty out the bag of words. Um, so and then we can relax and not be under the stress of making it in an hour.
Yes,
So
I'm
the
trembling with stress.
I can tell you're trembling so hard you're frozen in fear.
Yeah.
And so the final word for just the prompt alone is Daffy. Daffy. Daffy, like the duck. Or like me after 2 a.m.
The word is daffy. Daffy.
And if you're wanting the two, because there's two this week since we skipped a week, of the pretty purr putty tat kitty tokens, the
I was
second
wondering
word.
what that does. Is PPPTST. Just trying to work out
Pretty
what the hell
purr
that stood
purr.
for.
Yeah. Um, so the next word is giraffe. Giraffe.
Giraffe. Giraffe. Giraffe. Like a carafe.
I'm sorry, giraffe. Let me. It's such an
Giraffe.
elegant animal with a long neck, the giraffe. Is that better? Oh, the giraffe that's all golden with their mocha spots, their long, fluttery eyelashes, that giraffe. Is that better?
It's an interesting blend of accents that you're doing.
That's
By
me.
the way, you start talking from the sort of inside your chest for
Do
some
I?
reason. That's where the English voice comes from, deep inside the chest.
Yeah, I don't.
No, it
Yeah.
comes from back there. It's because we're so old. It's
Hello. Let me bring let me bring it
sounds
down into
just
my
like me.
diaphragm. I don't think I could do your voice. I don't think I could do your tone. It sounds
You might.
just no, I can't.
Yes, almost. You almost had it. Yeah. I pretty much sound like this.
that sounds like that
Basically my
sounds like
voice.
an old vampire who woke up and has cobwebs still in his throat. He's like,
Hmm.
somebody bring me some blood. Sorry. Or the butler. My lord. My lord.
Oh,
Um,
good grief.
Overlord
All good
says,
impressions. All good impressions. I mean, you just
I,
you ended up just
I
saying it in
nail
your
it.
voice.
I nail it. Overlord says 5 secret words and 2 pretty purr words to use optionally. And you must do it with 16 or more lines in a poem, prose, or short story under 3,000 words. Each line to count as a line has to have 3 words or more in it. And that's about it. But if you want the golden ticket, you have to do that, and the poem must be written about Looney Tune characters.
All right. That's quite
It's a golden
specific.
ticket. It's a golden ticket. Ash has a question. What's your question, Ash?
The question is, what?
3 words per line minimum.
But they have to be 3 different words, is my
Yes.
understanding.
Do they? No, you could go run, and that would count as a line.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah, it just has to
All
be
right.
3 words.
Interesting. See, I'm gonna just fill my poem with 16 no, I could do like 4 refrains.
You could, if that's what you wanted to do. It would fit the rules.
Technically, see how awkwardly I can
If it sounded good, it's a whole
play to
other
these rules.
thing.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But
I mean,
but
that's a question that could be asked on all of my content.
and Overlord says you could introduce a stutter and triple all the words. You could Elmer Fudd it.
I like that you're introducing. Oh yeah, play with the Looney Tunes thing. That could be fun.
So what y'all may have not figured out yet, because no one seems to have figured it out yet, is every single prompt that we give, the way that we word it, we give y'all plenty of room to go play and get creative and open your imagination and take advantage of how it's done. Just nobody's doing it. So take advantage.
It's too.
Have fun. Play.
All right.
Play. Um
Have
because
fun, damn it. That's one of the
have fun,
rules.
damn it. Oh, it is. That is one of the rules.
It's one
Have
of the
fun.
very strict rules that you have to
Yes,
abide
have
by.
fun.
Enjoy
You
it or not.
must enjoy it or don't do it. If you
Otherwise,
don't
you're
enjoy it, don't do it.
disqualified.
That's right.
You will be disqualified if you're not.
That's right. If you turn it in and have a grumpy face and go, I did not enjoy writing this, we're gonna go. Well, it's disqualified. Go enjoy it.
Turn it in with a smile, please.
Yes, everybody will smile. No. Ash, did you have a question? Or was that something that I did not figure out? Q to the 1 squared.
Q to 1 power.
I don't know.
Q to the power of 1? I don't know.
Is that a Star Trek reference? Because I could totally Star Trek that.
Oh, I couldn't.
You don't do Star Trek either?
No, good. No time for that. I'll watch the Orville. That's as close to Star Trek as I'll get. That's like good Star Trek. There's a conversation that could take up an entire whole other live.
Yeah, we're not going to have that conversation.
I think we're going to have to start a fresh live just for debating different television shows.
We might have to. But the whole live will be you going, oh, this is this, and me going,
Yeah, it'll be me going, look at all of these other cool things, and you going like, no, look at this one brilliant thing. It's this one thing. That'd be
there's got to be a number one.
It's just too much stuff.
Well, Overlord says it's a hotel in Queensland here, Q1, and Ash says, who knows? Who knows? Yeah, if you watched it, you'd get it, but you don't, so you don't. Um, and Overlord says it's a fabulous place for a honeymoon.
Oh, I
Well,
see.
if anybody's getting married anytime soon, go to Queensland and stay at the
Think
Q1.
I am.
Q1, if you are watching this, sponsor? No, I'm kidding. That was a joke. That was a joke. Probably a bad one, but still. Um, so no, there are 5 words total and 2 extra words, Ash.
No.
I
You
think you
not
missed
been
the.
paying attention. Good grief.
I think you may have missed the first one. Did they? Did she?
And unless you missed us doing two at the same time and only got one of them.
Yeah, that's possible too. 5 secret words, Ash, and 2 PPPT words. And so next we actually have Ash, the nature of Ash, and her poem does not have a title. Let me see how many slides it's on. Okay. And it goes something like this. Once upon a time, perhaps a month ago, I rewrote words to a song. The intro to Zombie is a minute long, a prompted nod to communication functions of the brain. Mine got a little banged up, drowning in my own sanguine rain. The one thing I wanted, the idea I wanted painted, self induced pressure to write until I fainted again and again through the night, trying my best, demanding the request, please don't take my pen from me. I've begged this fighting consciousness. I used my phrases, demonstrating how the storm phases, attempting to tell it clearly, scribbling ideas succinctly. Then a little vessel, it went pop. Everything came to a screeching stop. Glad I'm right handed, 'cause my left one is stranded. An ET tube left my voice branded. I saw my name on my wrist, so when asked, I pointed. It wasn't till I opened my mouth that I was truly disappointed. How I felt a darkness draped in death's domain, amplified long with starkness when I couldn't spit out my name. My support be given their all. Over and over, I watched myself fall. They watch me too. They see me fall. I keep getting up. And now I need help, but I still stand up. I take 3 steps. No, not to the left. I take 3 steps. Balance bereft. I don't take them to the right, or again on the floor, I'd spend the night. 1 foot in front of the other. Hell yeah, I got it. Time to take another. And I really, Ash says, title is
The positive. Huh.
Ramblings of a Zombie Fangirl, says Ash. It's the title.
Good title.
And very good title. And I love this probably for the reason you love it, because we know what every single line means.
And the positive spin on it is ridiculous.
Yes.
I
The
mean, ridiculously good. It's nice because it's an incredibly turbulent poem. You don't really need to look too deeply to the descriptions of things.
no, beautifully penned, Ash, says Tommy. Yes. And what I like about it, well, one, if you read a lot of Ash's poetry, you know that even when she talks about dark subjects, she finds the positive, and she
Mm.
really, her poetry is an uplifting sort of, have a positive outlook spin on things often, wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
Um,
it's definitely a deep knowledge and awareness of situations, and but because of this awareness and knowledge of these seemingly dark situations, it's just like I'm always banging on about the comedy and
mhm.
tragedy in everything, and both elements are always there, and she finds those
Yes,
elements that balance each other
yes.
out.
Yeah, and she adds her rhyme in and her rhythms and playfulness into it. And then this, in this particular, what I really liked is one, she's talking about that zombie poem because she's the
Mm,
only one who who zombified the golden ticket and wrote the actual Cranberries zombie song
yes.
for
And we
that
made it into
prompt.
a song as well. I did actually sing it for her over
Yeah, yeah,
the
you did.
instrumental of Zombie, which was interesting.
Um, and then and then the way that she literally is taking people through step by step what's happened, and
Mm,
doing so in just this poetically nonchalant
yeah.
way while
And a
spelling out
playful.
this
Yeah.
intense fear. I mean, for someone as prolific as her, who uses the words and writes the kind of poems that she writes, to suddenly lose that would be horrifying.
Mm.
So she
But
takes you on that journey.
it's almost like this kind of childish positivity where it's like, well, this has happened now and that sucked, but this, and then the, and the
Yeah.
descriptions of it, you know, then a little vessel, it went pop, everything came to a screeching stop. It sounds so playful, like a
Yes.
kid's describing it, or from a kid's storybook or something. But
Yeah. Nash says balance or you fall the F over. LOL. Yeah.
yes,
And that's and
exactly.
both literally and figuratively.
Mm,
And so I like that in spite of everything uh, that happened and has happened and that she's still going through, she's of course has the moments who wouldn't, but she stays this positive, I can do this. I can do this.
but it's
And I
almost
love that.
motivating, not just staying positive. It's actually, you know, you're reaching for something, and just, yeah, the yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I got it. Time's taken over. And you're
Yes.
talking about such incredible effort and adversities and things you got to get over, but you're just getting through it.
Yeah, and most of her poetry is writing about life, or be it her life or someone else's life, or nature, advocating for whatever it is that she's writing on. And I think that this is a good representation of that. So
Yeah.
I like that she has shared it with everybody because I think it would be motivational to other people
Mm,
as well. And it's a to me when I read something like that, I read it and I'm like, acknowledge what's happened to me, but see me. That's happened to
mm,
me, but see me. This is still me. And this is what's happened to me. And they're two very different things,
yeah.
is kind of how I read it.
Yeah.
And Ash says she loves the zombie song, Harry, and it still makes me giddy thinking of when you sung it. And Suki says it's really good, Ash. You're super talented. And Ash
Cool.
says thanks. So thank you, Ash. That is gorgeous. And next,
Next, we have Midnight City Radio,
mhm,
I believe. Yes.
Stephen. Yes.
Stephen with Wayward Pilgrim. And this is quite a short but sweet one also. Wayward Pilgrim, Stephen, Midnight City Radio. I was a wayward soul running from dark and cold. I was just chasing time to restore what was mine. I did not know the cost, a young one who became lost, losing my heart and soul, trying to make things whole. Why are you so kind in your atrophied eyes, crying, burning with such joy? I was just a boy, living and learning to love. All of those years I spent cost me a youth poorly spent, running from space to space, trying to find my place. But now that I have learned that you are the best I've earned, you are my life, my love, my precious morning dove. Why are you so kind in your atrophied eyes, burning and crying with so much joy. I was just a boy, living and learning to love. Short and sweet.
So I'm wondering what this is about. I know he likes writing about vampires too, and if I read it with the vampire twist, especially with the burning and crying,
Or just straight in with the wayward soul running from dark and cold.
yeah, but I don't know. Uh,
And then you've got the atrophied eyes because there's
yes.
this sort of positivity and romance and darkness to it. I, can, I probably wouldn't have gone vampire until you have said it, and now I can't get that imagery out of my head.
Oh, hi, Stephen. This is a fictional poem about an old man going home to his wife and knowing he was wrong. And
Oh,
Tommy's giving
I got
hearts.
the yeah. That's interesting.
And Stephen says, after many years of, I'm guessing, philandering. Oh, tumult. Yes. Hi. I hope you're having a good evening, Stephen. Uh, that makes a lot more sense in the sense of if we're trying not to vampire. But I like that, and he writes that. He writes stories all the time,
Mm.
fictional uh, stories on love a lot. The first poem of his I ever read was about love and fictional. Uh, and Steven says, I am. Me and mom are watching. Oh, well, that's nice that y'all are watching
Excellent.
together. That's so cool.
Yeah,
Um,
that was nice. I want nice priest. I like the precious morning dove line as well. The morning.
yeah, I like that refrain, the why are you so kind in your atrophied eyes? Because atrophied is such a strong word. Crying,
Yeah.
burning
So
with
having
such
that
joy.
kind with atrophied eyes.
Yeah. I was just a boy living and learning to love. And when you read it going back to what he was saying, I mean it completely switches
That
the
makes a lot of
poem
sense. Just using
around.
words like I was just a boy. That's almost
Yeah.
like and then that leads him to his mistake, doesn't it? Living and learning to love. So didn't really know what he was doing.
Suki says she's old. LOL. Yeah. Uh, oh, now they're your age, Mom. Did he just call you old, Suki? I'm almost put like his mom. Nah. But I do like the way that I like the way that there's this apologetic kind of song. This it's going, listen to me. Love me. I adore you. I made these mistakes. It's a very almost or it's questioning, like, why are you being nice? Why are you listening to me? Why aren't you slamming
Mm.
the door in my face? But then it's also kind of saying, but please don't slam the door in my face because I just made a mistake. It was just a moment. Yeah.
There's a lot of emphasis on the value of the time that has been
Yes.
used because it's the chasing time and the cost and I spent
Yeah.
the years I spent they were poorly spent but that the learning is the best I've earned. There's a lot of
He's quite a
reference to the
cad.
value of things.
Yeah, he sounds like quite a cad. But now that I have learned that you are the best I've earned, like now that I've had all that rest, and I know, no, she's good. I'm coming back to her. You are my life, my love, my precious morning dove. Uh, Stephen says, excellent interpretation. That's exactly what I was hoping to communicate. Oh, yay. Yeah, it's very,
Excellent.
he very much sounds like quite the cad player. Like, come on, baby. Those other women, they didn't mean anything. Um, so it's a really good poem. And I like the
Yeah,
way that your poetry always plays with human emotions and stuff like that. Uh, so I can see how this was your favorite style and subject to write to.
yes.
So thank you.
I
And the
like the
next,
title as well. Wayward Pilgrim is a good title as
yes,
well.
way of
It
pilgrim.
conjures up
Yeah.
quite a but yeah, a wayward pilgrim.
Suki says, right? He's trying real hard to mend that breach. Yes, that character is definitely trying. So let me sugarcoat it a little, sweetie. Um,
Yeah, a tale as old as time.
yes, yeah. And so next we have VJHD.writer, the Overlord. And this, let me see how many, so I know when to end. Okay. And this is called Dear Journal. Dear Journal. Writing a poem a day isn't easy when April is the cruelest month. I keep my secrets in rainy clouds, and sometimes they leak, flooding the dreams of a sleepy poet. A poem with oomph makes me jumpy. I counted all my shoes. It didn't help. A hat for every emotion I have. You could see when to steer clear of my moods. Do they make hats that look like rain clouds? A grave realization as I realized that April comes around every year. Squares have round edges when grief knocks you unconscious. Raise a glass to naivety, 'cause this isn't me anymore. Keep it while you have it. Enjoy it. Once it's gone, it's books bound by memories, unicorn farts, and photographs. I may as well make sunflower soup, 'cause all the lettuce I planted is dead. Garnish with celery, a decorative vegetable. Will the sunshine make it hurt less? Maybe I could forget for a while, yearning for the days when every kind of cereal was meant for one bowl, because he would look at me in amusement, roll his eyes, and wonder how I was his offspring. Raise a glass to naivety. Naivety, I'll never be so clueless again. My garden grows popcorn and cotton candy, and I have a chocolate river with marshmallow banks. Tingles of fructose tantalize brainwaves. The pony in the lounge room ate all the peanut butter, and now the jar is stuck to his nose. How many lies can I tell before you finally believe me? I have been a fool to march my way to April and not expect to get knocked over. A lull in the arabesque daydreams of truth, watching the wallpaper peel and the ceiling singe of copper. Clouds have silver linings, but they are made of titanium tears. I guess I like to write in cliches. This morning, the tree whispered what the moon said, but I couldn't hear the words. Oh well, not my monkey, not my circus, I guess. April makes no mind, because I spend it all in bed. Moisten the edges of my mind sharpen over time, but not this month, the month a sleepy poet lost their hero.
I think Overlord's been spending too much time with you.
Ha ha ha. I
I
think
mean,
I
as soon as you hit the old unicorn farts or whatever it was.
I don't look. I have never used farts in a poem except I tried to in the couplet this morning when Instagram literally would not let me use it, and I only did that because of what the line above said, and it really that was kind of a given to go there. But I am
Yes.
anti
All you
fart.
wanted to do was ruin my slightly romantic idea of a light being at the end of a tunnel. So thank you for that.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. And Tommy's given the hearts, and Suki says it's beautiful, and Overlord says, haha, those were all my April Fool's prompts. You have so.
I felt like it was, yeah. The more, but as soon as we got halfway through, I was like, this feels like a very April Fool's prompty kind of piece, just because it had so many specific elements in it. Because I know that the Overlord is not always as playful as this in their poetry, so it's something very specifically playful, but it's still very much there.
Yeah, but
The
they
way
like to
they
use
write, you know,
prompts.
not yeah the prompts, but also the way it reads like it's a rhymey piece with no rhyme. A lot of their poems, I feel, they're easy to read, even though I find rhyming poems easier to read. The way they
Yes,
write, it's got that same feel to it, even though it doesn't have the rhymes.
yes. And Overlord says, you have so. You used farts in your alliteration prompt with Fran.
That's a very quick fart recall, Overlord.
It
Well
is.
done. I remember distinctly
Fran,
every use of the word fart that I've come across in poetry.
the Patricia alliteration prompt where I had to use that line. Did I really? Well, it's usually a word I try to stay clear of, but and Ashes love it. But I take your word
It's
that I
not the
did it. I
most
don't remember
poetic.
half of what I write.
It's not the
So,
most poetic of words. Fart. It's hard to get fart or farting into a poem. Nicely to nicely squeeze in. Anyway.
what I like about this is they use their favorite thing where they work as many prompts into a poem as they can, and then also they're talking about family and they weave in Doctor Who stuff, and um, that's kind of their thing.
This is very Sound of Music of you. You've just weaved in all of your favorite things.
Yes.
Very nice.
Um, and they say, I remember because you were the first to make me use fart in a poem. Did I?
Now
Well,
this
that's you using
turns
it,
out
not me.
turns out there's this actual whole theme of your poetry, and most
I
of
guess
them have
so.
fart references in.
Oh, Overlord Explosive Material, says Ash. Your alliteration prompt that I used every prompt for had fart. Oh, I remember that. That's true. It did. That's true. And several people used it, which was quite surprising. I didn't think people would. So that was cool. Ash says, is that a challenge? What, to use an alliterative fart? If you want to alliterate your farts, Ash, you go for
That's
it.
interesting. An alliterative fart.
Um, I'll reshare it today for everyone. You do that, Overlord. Um, I
Excellent.
like.
Well, looking forward to that.
It was actually a good poem. I like the way they did those props and used all of them. Um, but I do like that line. It's bound by memories, unicorn farts, and photographs. That is actually a very whimsical line because everybody knows unicorns fart rainbows.
I like the yearning for the days when every kind of cereal was meant for one bowl. There's something
Yeah,
really nice and sentimental about that line.
there is, and I know what the line means, so I can say yes. There's absolutely very sentimental that line.
But it feels like it is that whole little
It
section
does.
there.
Yeah. And then there's that refrain of raise a glass to naivety, and then
Mhm.
but then as soon as they say I'll never be clueless again, then they go back, they keep
Yes.
doing more of it. So I like the rambliness of it. It's really nice.
Mhm. It's a good ramble.
Yes. And Overlord says memories of childhood and remembering stuff like that while being sad because you miss your dad. Yeah, you can see that
Makes
in it.
sense. And it's all the happy wrapped up in the sad and vice versa.
Yeah. So thank you for writing to our props. And
Well done.
and the
Terrific job.
next and the next is the ghostly poet Casper.
Casper, the
The
ghostly poet.
ghostess with the mostest. Overlord says, I love a
Cas.
good ramble. Favorite style.
Excellent. Okay, so here we go
Yes,
with Casper's
Casper's.
Casper, the ghostly poet with a matchstick. Hey, yo, pass the stew. I'ma stir it up with my screws. Mine's loose. Cut some more strings because that's what's helping you lose. Yeah, strike a fuse. Let's on a muse. Gain another bruise. Cruise and give 'em all the new news while dropping off and then hitting snooze. Land is where my feet are. I don't want to think subpar. Golf course, your own 101 hole war. Build it, break it, Build it, break it, lose it, create it, lose it, create it, fix it, fix it, fix it, make it. But don't take it, don't fake it till you make it. That kind of poor advice will not guide you to it. A heart ready for it. Casper loves his weird intensity, doesn't it? Not weird intensely, it's weirdly intense, even though it seems kind of playful. But I mean, he has a keen edge of darkness to a lot of his pieces.
He does. He talks about, he explores his mind a lot in his poetry and explores his emotional state and thoughts a lot in his poetry and things that go on in his life, which I think he hits really good. And
For sure.
he,
There's always a deep emotional attachment to a lot of what he talks about.
yes, and he likes to bring in the rhythm like music, like on that second page where it's like build it, break it, build it, break it, lose it, create it,
Mm.
lose it, create. He likes to come in like songs and hit with that. So
Mm.
I imagine the poetry in his mind is very different than how we sometimes read it because he always has a rhythm going on. Don't always hit it, but he has it going
Yes.
on, and it's he builds that. He drapes his poetry in a lot of metaphors and um, similes and all of that, so that you have to go, oh.
Yes. It's
Uh,
all a little bit twisty turny, twisty turny.
Ash says, "Hell yeah, good for the ghost. Great job in the crevices through this." Yeah,
Mm.
I like it. I like the way that he used the rhymes to really set that rhythm building until he gets to that second part, and I like the way that he's he's playing with the reader with each word, kind of spelling out what's going on, but he's being playful in it and kind of almost mocking what's going on.
Mm.
Um, that's how I read it anyway.
Yes. I find it hard to. I often have to take an extra couple of looks at Casper's pieces sometimes. Sometimes they are very blunt and to the point, and sometimes, like you say, they are wrapped in a lot of metaphor.
Yeah, I like the poetry that's always wrapped up in a lot of metaphor because I find that it strokes my inquisitiveness more. I don't like being told, "Here, think this. This is a red pen in a blue box on a brown table that's scribbling." That doesn't give my mind anywhere to go.
You get that sort of achievement, like you found something, like you found the meaning that's been wrapped in this. And yeah, that's
Yeah, I
really
like that
satisfying.
unwinding of puzzles sort of thing.
Hmm.
But
It's
his
the resonating, it's the wavelengths resonating at the same frequency, and then you're dialed in to what's going on.
but then on the last page you kind of start wondering what he's talking about as he goes into the rhythm of the build it, break it, lose it, create it, fix it, fix it, fix it. It's like he's building, building, building. Don't fake it till you make it. What kind of poor, and then the last line, the what kind of poor advice will not guide you to it, semicolon, a heart ready for it. And that can be such a play on words because that can either be, he's looking for love, life, whatever, or it could literally be, since he's a poet writing on Instagram and puts a lot of stuff up, looking
Hmm.
for that heart, refixing his poems, listening. So you don't know which way to go, or I don't know which way to go with this.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it feels like building your personal character, and you're building it up. You break it
Yeah,
down, and what it comes down to is not faking it. Be yourself, kind of thing. I
yeah.
feel like there's this message of stop relying on what other people think of you, because you are going to end out with the wrong person, the wrong heart, a heart that isn't ready for you because it didn't know what it was getting.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. I actually like that more. Ash
Yeah,
says, I respect the ability to change rhythm to portray tone. Yes. And I
yes, we
like
know
that.
that.
It's
I
like
know you
opening a
like that.
gift. Yes, I like it too. And Casper does that so well. So this was wonderful. I really like that. I really like it after the build. I like the way he switched to that. There's this manic almost. You can hear it. So I like
Mm,
that.
nicely done, Casper.
Oh, I'm about to screw this up. Okay.
Oh, you get to read an Aves. Although Aves has been playing with his forms interestingly recently.
He has, hasn't he?
These sort of almost they're like traditional with an Aves contemporary twist on them, and it's really satisfying to have
I'm
watched
enjoying it. Yeah, I'm
it
enjoying
transition
seeing
because
that.
he has this really natural flow, which is like a form of its own, which is just his kind of thing. But
It's
now
Abe's form.
he's yeah I don't think he's using actual forms, but he's changed the structure so they reflect a much more traditional form.
Yeah.
Maybe because I mean it definitely lends itself, but it's easier to cold read some of his more recent pieces because they have this more sort of traditional rhyme, but then he still throws in his cross rhymes and his extra syllables with mid rhymes and stuff. So
It's
it's
interesting.
been fun. It's been fun to watch, and I think he's recently written a longer piece. I know he was toying with the idea of writing some maybe prose or
I read one that was
actual
like
story.
it was like almost 10 or it may have been the full 10. That the
No, I
one that
think
was
it's
most
it's quite
recent.
recent one. Mm.
Yeah. Ash says like Overlord says yes, a wonderful beat to your poem, Casper. Yes. And so this one is Abe's Condor, and it's called Back Alley Birds. I'm so nervous reading this poem.
That's what makes it worse as well. Trying to read ahead, just go with it.
So let me see how many pages it is on this, so I know when to end. Okay. Back Alley Birds by Abe's Condor. Stuck in this revolving circle, leaping over the same hurdles, the options get cyclical, trapped reusing identical syllables, chances that slip my grasp, suffocating, trying to get a gasp. Recollect my breath, kissing the face of death, hoping that inspire newfound fire could never burn me into perfection, running in every direction. Climbing for that peak, lack of oxygen makes it bleak as I fall from the mountain in my last moments of fountain. Sentences spew so fast with an intensity impossible to surpass. In the reaper's wake and spurs of heartache, I exude a hate, this craving rage I can't satiate. Let it out for my sake, take too much, sorry. In the reaper's wake and spurs of heartache, I exude a hate, this craving rage I can't satiate. Let it out for my sake, too much to take that I carry for each and every mistake I've made. Following birds from their songs, dropping words, stealing what they say, all slide when my ink runs dry. Listen to the condor, keep crawling back. I always want more. Each turn seems so crooked, the walls are narrowing. Just book it. Concrete's cracked, all uneven, turned around would be treason. Pieces I push that aren't up to snuff join the tally, disappearing into the night like innocence in those back alleys. I don't think I read that right.
That I I think that went pretty good. Why don't you think you read it right?
Because I never think I get it right with Aves. I'm always like, nope, you
No,
almost
I
had
think
it.
that one. I think that was exactly what we're talking about, and the way that he's written it in this more sort of traditional way. So I think I think you
Okay,
hit the
good.
intended flow. I feel like that was the intended flow for
We'll
it.
let Aves
Pretty
tell
much.
me.
Pretty
I
close
hope
enough,
so.
yeah.
Yeah. I
I want to
I
hear
like the
Aves read more again. We got a
I
tease
know
with
what
one
happened. We
one
got that
cheeky
one
live a
tease.
little while ago, and he was so relaxed and calm. It was really,
I
really nice.
know.
I want to see it again.
I
So we're
thought for
gonna have
sure
to
he would do. I thought for sure he would read it because he did so well
yeah,
with them, and
we're
then he
gonna have
didn't.
to
And it's like, oh,
try and get him on a
coax
guest
it.
spot or something, or coax it out
Yeah.
of him. Yeah, because it
Come
was
on,
just he did it on his
Ames.
own steam
He
last
did.
time,
He
just sat
did.
there reading. It was nice. It was a
And
very
he was
casual
so
read.
so nonchalant. Like, yeah, Ames, I'm
Mm.
here, dude. We're cool. We're
And
cool.
he was taking DMs and everything. It's so
Yeah.
chill. It's like, yeah, I'll read one of these. I'll read one. What of mine do you want me to read? Yeah, I'll read that one.
Oh, for the first live, he wasn't like
Yeah.
hyperventilating or turn. Yeah, we'll have to do it. We'll have to get him.
Mm.
Aves, you hear that? You're
Yes.
about to get stalked, dude.
We need
Run, run for your
more
life.
Aves live.
Um, but I like the way in his rhyming on this. A lot of it is half rhyme. He does not go for that solid rhyme
Yeah.
on it on a lot of the words, but they fit. Uh, so I like the way that he's more playing with the rhythm and the sound
Yeah.
than
It's all
trying to
about the
get it
rhythm,
direct. It's all about the rhythm.
definitely.
And then he's, writing on his favorite topic, which is damn,
Loving
life
birds.
sucks. And I'm trying to loving birds. Yes. Um, but I like the way it builds. Like there's a steady build, and then like a in right. That's how I read it in
He's
everything.
just got that truly poetic angst, like the sort of youthful
The
poetic
youthful
angst
poet angst.
to a lot
Yes.
of it. But the strong feelings that are so strong and deep because they're
Mm.
relatively new, but they're also
So
changing and
passionate.
adapting. So there's all of this. But he's very aware of the turbulence of it. So he's
Yeah.
constantly writing about this topic because it is a constant, especially.
Yeah. He's got that same passion like how Leslie and I were talking, unable to believe that uh Beauclair, I think it was, say the name wrong.
Baudelaire,
Baudelaire, thank you.
Beauclair.
Beauclair, Baudelaire. I have admitted a million times I never remember names correctly. It is a thing with me. I can't do names. Uh, but we were so shocked that he was just 19 when writing such
Mm,
passionate poetry. But like you just said, it makes sense because all those feelings are so fresh and so overpowering to a young person. But all of Aves's poetry is pouring out his heart and his soul and
mm,
so passionate and so love a lot of times, or just angst that it's like, dang, are you really that young?
yeah, and
Because he's
also with his
very
knowledge
young.
of language and vocabulary, it is
Yes, the
unusual to
mythology.
have someone. Yeah, all of these references, which are very. I mean, they feel like references that come with experience, but
Yes.
people gain experience very quickly. It's not always independent on how many. It's not always dependent on how many years you've spent. You can gain a
Yes.
lot of experience in a short amount of time. You
Yeah,
can
and
feel a
Ash,
lot. You can feel a lot in a short amount of time.
you can tell that he's a very intelligent young man. I mean, that thinks a lot. I mean, he clearly thinks a lot.
Yes.
Um, and Ash says, feels casual, and Suki says, these poems are all so good. I'm having trouble knowing what to say. I'm going to have to just use hearts. That's okay, Suki. Sometimes things make a person speechless. I'm
Yeah.
sure everybody just really enjoys that you're listening. And Ash says, "Soak in that goodness, Suki." Yeah, it's
Hmm.
gorgeous, Ave. So thank you for writing. Really
Yes.
enjoyed
It's
it.
always satisfying to read Aves.
And And I really like, I gotta say, I like the way that he rounds it out at the end, um, where he says, "Pieces I push that aren't up to snuff join the tally, disappearing into the night like innocence in those back alleys." I mean, like innocence in those back alleys. That's something. Ashes, I hope he writes to the Friday prompt. Me too. I really, really do. He still hasn't asked for an image yet. So I'm waiting. It's like, come on, Aves. This one was built for you. Ask for an image. Because you know he'd just kill it, right?
Yeah.
But so really, really great. Thank you, Aves. I'll have to give him a nudge. Go, hey Aves. Nudge, nudge,
Yeah.
nudge.
Give him a nudge. I mean, he's probably currently writing one of his many. He's just one of those prolific characters.
Yeah. It's always
Have you
nice to read
seen?
his poetry.
It's interesting seeing his. He's got one of those tier things where he's put all of his poetry. I wouldn't be able to do that because all of mine would just be like down at the bottom. It's like no, it's all rubbish. But it's interesting the way that he can look at all of his work like that. I would find that very
What do
difficult.
you mean a tier thing?
Tiers like top tier is like the best thing you've ever written, and then it goes down
Oh, he has
to
that?
yeah, one of those things.
Oh, I
It's
know.
from some form of social media. I don't know which, but it's a very specific layout where it's just this tier thing, and you just drag the image that represents the thing into top tier, higher tier, all the
Oh,
way
I didn't
down to.
realize that's what he was doing with that. That's what that is?
He obviously has that somewhere and just occasionally pops it on his stories to show you what he's up
Oh,
to.
yeah, I didn't know. I just thought he was just, because his pictures are always so nice. So I just thought he just it's a layout, but I didn't realize there was a point to the layout. I
Yeah.
didn't even know you
Oh
could
yeah.
change the order on Instagram. You can do that?
On no, I mean not on Instagram. This is a separate thing that he does aside, and then shares an image of it where he's got
Oh,
them
I don't
tallied
look
up.
at stories really.
Oh well, you missed out.
It sounds like I'll have to start looking. It's a lot to keep up with. It's
Oh,
like
stories. Yes,
I
stories are
I
difficult because some people will post like 1,000, and half of them will be reposts or whatever.
yeah, I yeah, they give me anxiety. So I just like,
Because there's
oh,
so many. The stories obviously are meant to trigger people's sort of obsessive compulsive thing because you want to get rid of all the little glowing rings around everything. So sometimes you just want to fire
oh, is
through
that
so everything's neat. I've definitely done that before, but it just got exhausting and seemed mean to people, like because it kind of looks like people are viewing your stories, and I'd rather either look at something or not just show up to say that I've looked at it, but I've actually missed it.
well,
Just kind of clear my screen. It seems mean.
I follow a lot less people now, but when it was like following, well, still didn't follow as many. It's just a lot of freaking stories. I mean, even if it was just 100, that's 100 people
Mm.
you have to get to. And I remember when I decided to stop looking at stories for the most part, was I sat down, I was like, okay, I'm going to look at everybody's stories. And I hit my time. And I went through, and I didn't even read them all. I mean, I tried to, but I didn't. It took me over 2.5 hours to get through every story that was up there. And that was not reading everything. So I was like, yeah, no, I can't be doing this. And that was my last day where I really look at stories. I'll occasionally click on some, but of like people I interact with and stuff like that. But in general, I'm a no stories girl. 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that's a long time. That's like the difference between breakfast and lunch almost.
That's crazy. And Overlord says, this is stunning. So yeah, it was really good. Sorry, rambles. We should just
Next.
put a big warning sign up there. Prone to tangent, tangent, tangent.
Yeah, just need some flashing. Yeah, we just need the big the hooked walking stick to come pull us off. We need the music playing, the Academy music
Yeah.
playing. But we'll do another
Oh,
poem, shall we?
hey, does the word number 4 end with the letter G?
Pretty sure it doesn't.
Pretty sure it
Are you
ends
doing
with
a cross?
R.
Are you doing a crossword? Because you've really got it wrong.
It ends with R, Ash.
Yes.
FOUR.
Who's thinking it was spelt like trough? But that would still be an H, not a G. Yeah. Anyway. Well, I'm going to read a poem by Melrose Poetry 18
Okay.
called Resonance. The resonance of the old vampire's voice holds the soul of the French Quarter, thick as a rich pot of red beans and rice, just waiting to be devoured. You can hear the succulent sound of jazz in each syllable he utters, a shadowed grin tasting of chicory. His true nature remains hidden. Vibrating at a different frequency, every sound is a spectacle. As you move about town, all you see is him pressing into your subconscious. Laissez le bon temps rouler drips. All you can imagine is we share. I apologize for the French. That's as close as I could get it. That was an interesting form. I feel like that was a specific form. It's kind of arranged like a
It's
weird form of a
sort of,
sonnet.
yeah, it's sort of arranged like one. She probably has on her page. And
I know she's definitely posted variations of sonnets, many variations
yes,
of sonnets.
many
Interesting.
variations.
And just interesting variations of forms. She's quite keen on playing with forms.
Yes. And she loves vampires and she loves New Orleans. So, and she loves, and she loves music. So the resonance, and the way that she describes the
Yes,
sound.
that makes sense. Yeah.
So you can really read all of those things because, vampires' voices are supposed to be hypnotizing. So I like the way that she plays with the succulent sound of the jazz, um, each syllable that he utters, and then vibrating on a different frequency. Every sound is a spectacle. She really plays with it. So I really like that a lot. And Overlord caught on to Ash what Ash was talking about that we completely missed. Ash was talking about the secret prompts, not the word.
The what? When?
With the 4, she was asking if prompt number 4.
Oh, the fourth. I see. Word
That
number
makes more
4.
sense. We're
The word
daft.
number 4.
We're
You can
daft.
see. You can see.
No,
Yeah. I mean,
we're just daft.
yeah.
We're just daft.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense if you think about what we're actually doing and why we're doing it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, the reason that we did that, yes, we just immediately went there, but we shouldn't have,
yes,
I
that's
guess.
ridiculous.
Yes. So,
Yes, I just thought you were being stupid, Ash, but apparently we were being stupid, which makes sense. And yeah, tend to usually be a more likely explanation always.
well, I didn't think she was being stupid. That's harsh, but no, I thought something else. Uh, so what does the French mean, Harry?
I don't know. I've used laissez-faire in a poem before as well, but I can't quite remember what it means. I think
The
there's some sort
good.
of casualness to
Hold on.
laissez, and that's not
Les
just because
le
it sounds
bon
like
temps
lazy.
ruler. I don't know what ruler
There's
means.
bon temps. Temps going to be something to do with the speed. So good. I don't know. I don't know. I could just make it up.
It's a Louisiana French phrase, and it means let the good times roll.
Well, there you go. Yes, darling. We share. Something like that, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes, darling. It's the French version of yes, darling.
the French version of like, yes, yes, dear, yes, yes, love, share, yes.
See, Ash
Ash
knows I
says,
wasn't being harsh.
Ash says you'd usually be right. Yeah, that's me and Harry talk. It's okay. Oh, I know. I'm just
Yes,
picking
that's.
on him. I know that's y'all's talk. I was just teasing him.
Yes, we are intentionally mean to each other.
Y'all are. Y'all can lay it out. And I really enjoyed that. Now that was great.
Yeah,
And New
very
Orleans is
nice.
beautiful.
Always nice throwing in the a bit of other language in there. I think it's very satisfying.
Yes. Ash is like proud Mary. Uh-oh, she's going. I'm not starting that. I'm not starting that. So next we have brush and pintails. I'm not starting it. Not on camera. So this is Pentacles. Gotta stop. Brush and pintails. And there is no title. Through art they spoke, words failing to suffice. In each other's brilliance they found paradise. Their love magical yet deadly potion. Ulay and Marina, eternal devotion. Love, once a blazing inferno, began to wane as stabs of lies and infidelity caused pain. Marina's tears, like rivers, flowed free, for Ulay's betrayal cut deep, raw as could be. The slap of reality stung their faces as their once sacred union left traces. Both wept, their spirits battered and torn, for the love they once knew was now forlorn. The lies, like daggers, pierced the soul, leaving scars too deep for time to console. In the depths of despair they cried, for the love they lost, for the truths denied. Dreams of marriage vows never fulfilled, their love's journey fate's hand stilled. For 90 days, lovers they strode along the wall, their burden a heavy load. Meeting at a temple's silent scene, their hearts weighed down, souls clean. One last farewell in prayer's hush, Ulay and Marina, love's final brush. In history's pages, a pivotal stand to shatter love's binds, fate's demand. Ulay and Marina, once tightly wound, now face truth in sacred ground. With tearful eyes they bid adieu, their love's flame dimmed yet true. Footsteps walking apart, their union ascends. Ulay and Marina, parting as forever friends. Years apart, together again they sat, time's imprint evident in wrinkled chat. Memories flowed a river wide, in each other's presence, peace abide. Across the table, time rewind and stood firm, their love unwavering against life's squirm. In reunion's quiet, words find their place. Ulay and Marina bound one last time in grace. Then Ulay departed, his spirit sore, leaving Marina with memories to adore. Though fate tore them apart, their friendship stands in memory's face where eternity spans. But tales, alas, reach their conclusion, their legacy defying illusion. Ulay may be gone, but their art's alive. Ulay and Marina in each other's thrive. Ash says, "Oh, I
Wow.
loved reading this. So good, read out loud." I did too. I read it and I was like,
Yeah, it's nice.
what a sad love story. A happy, sad love
Yeah, it was a
story.
happy, sad one. It was quite sweet.
Yeah. Um, but I do wonder since she says in history's pages, I'm like, are these people real? Is is my lack of world knowledge
They
shining
feel like
through?
very specific names, don't they?
They do, they do. And Overlord says, yes, a beautiful read. And she often writes about world stuff, but she always writes about love. So I guess that's where her style and favorite is coming across. And she,
You could see it just be a tale that is reflective of, so many stories combined for sure, because it definitely evokes a feeling, a very
yeah,
specific feeling about that sort of building something and then losing it, but then having that sort of comforting familiarity later on. Yeah,
yeah.
it was nice. A little bit like the previous. Was it
Mm.
uh, Stevens that was a little less positive version of similar elements to it with this relationship spanning time and sort of going away and coming back to it.
Yeah. And Ash says the middle, especially, is so melodically written. That's what I love about this and her poetry. Her poetry is so musical and lyrical in the way she writes it. And even, even as this all has the end rhyme, but it just, the rhythm to the words, the syllable way, the way she uses the syllables in the words, it's just really beautiful in a storytelling, dreamy
Yeah,
sort of.
it's got a very storytelling kind of that sort of nursery rhyming with the simple end rhyme thing and the relatively simple flow. It rolls off the tongue very well and just tells a story that is easy. It's easy to follow, but it's just told in that nice twinkly poetic way.
It does. I could see this very much like a young or like a teen children, like a it's very book. Like has a
Hmm.
beginning and the middle and the end. It's a tale. Like her name is Brush and
It's a
Pin
proper
Tales.
story.
It's a
Yeah,
definite. It's a proper story. So in poetic form. So I really like that. It's almost like an epic poem. Well, I guess it is in a way because it
a
transcends the
mini
whole
a
life.
mini
Is it?
epic. Is that a thing?
So
Yeah,
it's really, really good. Thank you, Pentacles,
pentacles.
because she's magical.
Oh damn, I lost it. Sorry, let
And
me get back to the list.
and next is C.J. Myers, poet. C.J. Myers, poet. And this is called Endless Darkness. The night is dark and can seem endless. The sun always wakes us to a new day with new possibilities. Hang on until morning. There is light, there is hope, there will be a hand to hold. No endless darkness can steal your shine or hide you away. Open your eyes to your own flame.
That one went
Uh,
super quick.
yes, but it's very direct and motivational and encouraging, like much of CJ's stuff is. If you've uh, been on her page, she is very promoting of self-awareness and love, peace, and happiness stuff, and just fueling that positivity within your journey and not giving in to the despair. You're going to have it,
Mm,
you're going to feel it, but trying to just elevate.
yeah, and
So
it's
I
all
can
super
see that.
positive, and I like the subversion of
Mm,
the title,
yes.
"Endless Darkness." And you think, oh, here we go. The night
Yeah.
is dark and can seem endless. Immediately it's like, ah, just seems that way. The sun always wakes us to a new day.
Well, that's a really nice comparison, isn't it? To really get somebody's attention and go, I get that you think it's always dark, but think about the night and the sun. Even around the world where it can be like dark for 6 months at a time, the light does eventually poke through. And so I like I like that aspect of it. And I like the ending aspect of it too, is that nothing can steal your shine or hide you away if you just open your eyes to your own flame. And that's like I think that's such an important thing for people to grasp and understand, is that we can get depressed and fall into darkness and all of that. But in the end, the power is ours if we'll just start seeing ourselves differently. And that's a big thing, is don't always put yourself down. Look in the mirror and say some positive things. Find happy things about yourself. And if you do that enough, eventually that becomes the habit versus the other.
Hmm. It's
So
just
I
finding
like that.
finding that that chance to open your eyes. Just see it. Just get a glimpse. As soon as you do, how can it's just that little something to drive towards.
Yeah. I think sometimes even it's like you don't even you may not see the light. There may not be that glimpse, but it's just that belief that it will be there. And so you kind of have to hope, pretend until suddenly it starts shining through. Make part
But
the
it's like
shadows yourself.
looking for the light in the darkness that
Mm,
you think you're in, and you are actually the light in that
yeah,
darkness. You don't need
yeah,
to look elsewhere for it.
yeah, yeah. Whew, epiphany moment. That was big.
Yes, I will deploy a head exploding emoticon.
Yes, and Ash says it's nice and encouraging. Oh, deep, Harry. See, Ash's head exploded too. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
but that was really
I,
good. You
I
can
can
be
say deep
deep.
stuff
Oh,
when I'm not thinking about it. It all tends to be by
exactly.
accident.
Ash and I were both like, wait a minute. That was Harry. Just
Yes, he
kidding.
must be reading that from somewhere else.
That was nice. Oh, you
Yes,
get this fun
nicely
one.
done. Oh, so I get to read Richard. No more half measures 2023. This is going to be some wackiness, isn't it? Upside, I mean, it's called Upside Down Nursery.
He loves his nursery
Right,
rhymes.
let's go with this. Upside Down Nursery. No more half measures 2023. Richard. Down at the Hickory Dickory Dock, mice run up ships instead of a clock. Seems that things are all muddled and skewed. These nursery rhymes have all been a bit misconstrued. Little Bo Peep is now herding some cats, and the Pied Piper has been playing concerts for bats. Humpty Dumpty still had a great fall, but luckily his summer was the most excellent of all. Old MacDonald is starting anew. Instead of the farm, he's teaching animals kung fu. Little Red Riding Hood gave up the red. She is now a gun for hire when you need someone dead. The Muffin Man went on a diet, so had to change his name, but the gluten-free guy as a moniker just doesn't sound the same. Hansel and Gretel now run all the streets. You will have to pony up for a taste of their sweet treats. Cinderella has a day job now, cosmetic sales it seems. After all, she was unrecognizable without foundation and creams. Jack and Jill were mortal enemies. Water fights were just the start. Jack's trip and fall accident, we all know Jill played her part. Goldilocks stumbled upon the three little pigs. Unlike the bears, they know how to protect their homely digs. She stole no food and broke no chair. This blonde little girl was the one caught unaware. With the magical world in turmoil, I worry about these rhymes. Was all this nonsense just a way to cover up true crimes?
Whew.
A scathing analysis on the reality of nursery rhymes there.
Yes. Well, he likes to
Something far more sinister going down.
Yeah, he likes to dirty up the nursery rhymes a bit and give them their well, he takes the wickedness that is nursery rhymes and he's like, "Phew, let's make this a little more in your face." Uh, Overlord says, I kept laughing while making these slides, reading out certain lines. I must have sounded nuts to the room. And Ash says, awesomeness. Yeah, there's a particular one I
But he
like.
adds this sort of he uses the silliness of the original nursery rhymes, but then adds this sort of dose of dark reality to it, but then adds another layer of silliness to it as well. It's always good fun in
Yes.
several different ways when he plays around like that.
Yeah, and Suki says that was a lot of fun and is laughing. I really like the Humpty Dumpty still had a great fall, but luckily his summer was the
Yeah,
most excellent of all because I could just hear Bill and Ted,
yeah,
uh, especially
most
the way you read it.
excellent.
Yeah. Um, but
I don't know, I
I
like
like the way
the Muffin Man changing, the
gluten
Muffin
free
Man
guy.
going on a diet. Yeah, gluten free guy. It's just
He
silly.
he plays with what's it called? Like movie trivia and current events and music and stuff a lot in his
Mm,
writing like gluten free guy. Is that like blue shirt guy? Like the movie Blue Shirt guy?
I don't know what that is. Blue shirt guy.
How are you able to say you're the movie dude if you don't know who Blue Shirt guy is? That right on,
I
isn't
didn't.
that what it's called?
People say I'm the movie dude. I obsess over certain
But
obscure movies.
the Ryan Reynolds movie about
Oh,
the
which is
egg
just called
gaming
Free Guy.
free guy?
Yeah,
But
I thought
isn't
that's what
the
you meant, and then you said blue shirt guy, and
but
that's
in the
just a joke.
movie don't they call him Blue Shirt guy?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't watch the movie because it was pointless.
No, the movie was
I get
actually
it.
kind of cool. You
Oh
should
yeah,
have
but I
watched
get it.
it.
I don't think you need to. It's one of those movies where you watch the trailer, you get it for sure, for 100%. I know that.
You for
Much like the
sure
movie that
100
I saw
you for
yesterday.
sure
I've just been,
100% know a lot
I
of
for sure
things.
100%. Yeah,
um,
guaranteed, one
yes,
sure. Spitting facts.
must be nice. And Ash is very pop culture esque. And Overlord says
Yeah,
it's a good movie, actually. Yeah, it was a really good movie. It had a great storyline. It was actually, and I'm surprised you haven't watched it considering the subject.
I would no. I watched some of it, and it's just yeah, I get it.
You are an interesting fella, Harry. Interesting fella.
Just when you think you know me,
It's like, what?
another Harry who knows everything moment. There
So,
are so
just
many of those.
just bringing to your attention because I will forget to, Overlord. Uh, you will want to go look at Mercury's slide.
Oh,
And so Overlord says another Harry knows everything moment. Yeah. 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 Ash says 6 steps. Yeah. Um, and so this and so this is Mercury dot poetry, I believe is the name. I don't have it in front of me, so I mess up on the usernames now because I call people by their names. Yes, Mercury dot poetry. And it is called Wife. I'm so glad to have you and share this life, walking through side by side, hand in hand. And I'm quite proud to have you as my wife, someone who listens and to understands. You have my whole heart after all this time, even when results didn't come as planned. Sure, there are some sparkly things all around, but yours is the only star in my sky, hoping that is something you'll never doubt. My love for you an abundant supply. And my loyalty to you is devout. It's you and only you who has my eye.
Oh,
Aww.
that's just lovely, isn't it?
So I guess his favorite thing to write about is his wife. And uh, he loves the rhyme and just go pouring out that devotion.
That's lovely. I wonder
It
if
is.
he read it aloud
He
to her.
did. Oh, to her. Well, he read it. He read it for the room.
This is a golden
For
thing. Yes, I think. I
this is a
think.
golden ticket. Oh, we haven't been
I think
announcing
I
all these
remember
golden
listening to
tickets,
it.
have we? We'll announce them all at the end. Everybody who got them. Yeah, he did it, and it was greatly done. Suki says it's lovely. I like the way that he goes through and he spells out. He's like, "You listen and understand. You have my whole heart after all this time, even when
Hmm.
results didn't come as planned. Um, my love for you is an abundant supply." It's very sweet.
Yeah, it was really lovely.
And I like the whole, sure, there's some sparkly things all around, but yours is the only star in my sky. It's like, sure. Ash says he writes such great poetry for his wife. Oh, that's
Hmm.
amazing. Who
Oh,
doesn't
that's
want a
cool. So that,
poetic husband? That'd be cool.
yeah. But I mean, Phil does similarly as well. He's
Yeah.
always talking about it, and that's really nice to see someone just
Yeah.
basking in the joy that they take in their partner. It's lovely.
I think so. It gives you hope, doesn't it? Or it gives me hope. I'm
Mm.
like, oh, yes, one day I will find a poetic dude.
It,
We will
yeah, I
exchange
wouldn't.
poetry.
It doesn't. It doesn't
Probably
give me
won't.
hope. I'm just glad that it is there for some
Well, it
people.
gives me hope.
I,
Something
I
to
embrace my. I
aspire to.
embrace my hopelessness.
Something to aspire to. But yeah, it's beautiful and I like that. And he just owned it.
Yeah, lovely. And you know what you're in for when it's titled "Wife." I mean,
But
you know what
it
you're in
could
for when the prompt is write about your favorite thing to write about.
that's true.
I think,
I was
and
gonna
then you'll have
say
it titled "Wife." It could go if the
it could
prompt was
go a
different.
very different way.
Yes, I agree. And I just realized what you were talking about on the tiles. I was searching for a spelling mistake in the, in the poem. I realized there's some labeling issues going on with the kitties there, but
A bit.
I'm sure all will be well. Uh, okay. Does this mean that the next one is an anonymous one? Or is it
Yes,
actually
it is.
someone's name? Because that's a good name if it is.
I think the name's a little off, but yes, that is the name of the anonymous kitty. Kit E.
Anonymous Kit E.
Yes, anonymous Kit E.
Right. So this is an untitled piece by
You want to look at
Anonymous.
anonymouses as well? Just heads up there.
I mean, I wouldn't know. Is something wrong there?
Well, when you look at the next page, you'll see.
I don't get it. But anyway, I'll just read this, shall I? This is an untitled anonymous piece. This picture is the perfect definition of solitude for me. I would rather be amongst a crowd of trees than a crowd of people. Within the trees, my heart sings a tune of nature's song. My soul feels at home, and I don't have to be anyone other than myself. I can be a barefoot, free-spirited forest nymph who waltzes beneath the cerulean moonlight as I bask in the obsidian twilight. My untamed heart loves to delve into the forest where I roam to heal my soul and where my inner child grows along the path of self-discovery. That was an interesting little piece.
Yeah, they have the mirror in the image is the picture that they included with the the prompt. It was a dual prompt, I guess, from what
Ah,
the Overlord is saying.
okay.
And they actually a picture taken themselves. Oh, so they took the picture. Um, and this is the this is the person that fills in sometimes when, like, if there's a double something or somebody goes, "Oh, I'd like to do that, but I don't have anyone to do it with." It's anonymous. They don't want to be known,
Fair enough.
and so Ash says, "I like the introspect." Yeah, I like. It's very, from what I've read of their poetry, it's very much like them in the nature loving, magical aspects of things. Being introspective, thinking about who they are, talking about themselves, and then just beautiful, beautiful use of observation of what's around uh,
Okay,
in the
that makes
woods
more
and stuff.
sense the way it started because I was thinking, a general picture because it hadn't been established that there was a picture that they were talking about. So it's clearly this picture is
Yeah,
the perfect definition of solitude.
it's a gorgeous picture of the woods. Absolutely stunning picture of the woods.
Yes,
Uh,
I can just get a little peek into it's kind of misty with a nice twisty, thick tree trunks and branches.
yes. And Overlord says, yes, they write their soul in a few introspective words every time. They do. Um, and so I like that. They're saying, I like being here with the trees. My heart sings the tune of nature's song. And I totally understand that my heart sings the tune of nature's song, and that I like being out there in nature because then I can be a barefoot, free spirited forest nymph who waltzes beneath. I can feel what they wrote here because that is what I love about nature, and being out in the forests. Uh, Ash says, yes, it's so good. And Overlord says, I'll post the picture at the end of the posts. That's cool. And Ash is giving all the foresty green hearts. So,
I
and
like
I,
the
I
I
like,
like the idea of basking in the obsidian twilight.
me too. That's my favorite thing to bask in. And I like the way that they use the end where they're like, I roam to heal my soul, where my inner child grows along the path of self-discovery. And that is my favorite part about going into the woods, is because you're witnessing all of nature and all of these worlds around you, so many worlds and so many lives. But as you're walking and you're drinking them in and you're taking them in, you're on this journey of self-discovery and world discovery, just like a child, because if you open your mind and your soul to it, everything you see is new, every sound you hear is new, every smell, you can smell these new notes in it. And as you're listening and watching and hearing and feeling, you're growing a little bit in yourself too, and you are feeding that childish wonder inside that keeps you kind of happy and okay in the darker
Mm.
times. It's like a bath. Nature just showers you away, I think. So I like it. Sorry, but I get it. I get it. Kitty I get it. Um,
All right, Angelique gets it, so
I
that's
get
good.
it. That's right.
Well, nicely done. I look forward to seeing the proper image as well to relate.
Yeah. Thank you for writing.
Wonderful.
And next we have Dreams in Color Poetry. Count. Okay. And this is called Down the Same Road by Suki. Dreams in Color Poetry. Close your eyes, they said to me. I thought to myself, how hard could this be? Now, picture your guilt and grief. This will give you some relief. Picture a box or barrel. Whatever you choose, it's just the place to keep the blues. I see a shipping container. It's going to have to be big. They'll have to seal the doors on this guilty grief rig. Now you need an opening to put it in there. How would you put it in? Please share. I would cut a hole in the top of it. Maybe it would all fit. That's how much of it I've got. I'd weld it shut, seal the pot. It may seep out. It's like a fog, and 'cause people to breathe in the smog. Just when I think I have it all, more horrible things come to call. I need to put in so much more. I've been down this road before. Yeah, this makes me
I just
think
had
of
to go.
like
I had to go
therapy.
straight back to the start after it ended there to get it again.
Yeah, it makes me think of the circle like that therapy can be, or like when you're at, so he says, I was angry.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can see that in a little bit of sarcasm coming out. Or I read it as like sarcasm. On the nose,
Yeah, I
Angelique,
can
says
see it
Suki.
as this huge eye roll right at the beginning, like,
Yeah,
all right, yes, I'm gonna do this, and the idea of yeah,
yeah. And then they just walk
picturing
you through this
picture it.
ridiculous picture. I hate it when people say that. Picture a box. Put your worries
Yeah,
in a box and shut them away. And I always want to go, well, if you put your worries in a box and shut them away, you're not actually handling the situation, are you?
but it's as ridiculous as saying you might as well just say, imagine you don't have any worries. Because that's what you're telling them to do. So yeah, put them in a box. Yeah, it's an imaginary box. So you're just imagining this. So just imagine you don't have any of these problems. Then you might as well just say
Yeah.
that.
Hello,
But it's
I'm a
distraction,
therapist. Let
isn't
me
it? It's
teach you how to
distraction.
deflect from what's actually
Yeah,
going on and pretend
distraction and
it's not
deflection.
real.
That's it. Mm.
Yeah.
Look over
Two
here.
terms I
Put
shouldn't
your
be
problems
teaching
over
you
here and look
because
over
I'm a
there.
therapist. Yes. Suki says, right, exactly. Ash says, thumbs up. Yeah, it ticks me off when that happens because it's like, dude, did you not learn in your books? This is exactly what you're supposed to be teaching me not to do because it's not
Hmm.
healthy. Um, and it doesn't help. Uh, Suki says, mental illness is actually one of my favorite subjects. Yes, Suki. It Yeah, I can see why you would rant on that. And I like the way that you go about it. And then in that last little bit where because they say just put it in a box and put it away.
Just
And
snarkily
you're like,
describing.
yeah,
All
and then
right.
you're like, and just when I think I have it all, more horrible things come to call. So it's like, well, damn it. Do I open the box? Do I get a bigger box? What do I do? It's just the ridiculousness of the whole treatment for that. Uh,
Mm.
and Suki
But
says,
it's interesting that the putting it all into this box, but then saying it may seep out like a fog, causing people to breathe in the smog. And that's kind of like, how you suppress these feelings into this box or whatever and keep packing it in until they explode and then start affecting the people around you. They
yeah,
start getting negatively affected by all the negative things you've suppressed because of this poor way of dealing because
it's
it's not
horrible
dealing with it.
advice.
It's
It's
not a way
horrible
to deal with
advice.
anything. It's a specific
Yeah.
way to not deal with anything. It's terrible.
And Suki says, mental illness is actually one of my favorite subjects since I have bipolar disorder. I can see where it would be with that, Suki. And Overlord says, well, it does help to separate what you can't control from what you can for the purpose of discussion and growth, but it can't stay separated. And Suki
I
says,
think
thank
it's
you.
one of those examples of a therapy that a method that may work for some people, but it's a dangerous blanket method to use. Because I know
Yes.
over here for a period of time they were very keen on pushing cognitive behavioral therapy, which is like making lists of your regular activities and taking small successes and stuff, and that could not be further from helpful for any issue that I've had. And they kept trying to get me to do it. It's like You don't understand. I just won't. I'm just not going to do it. So telling me that, yeah, it was very strange that they couldn't get past the fact that it wasn't appropriate for me. So no, no, just try it. It's like you're not understanding me at all.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing about that and medicine and healing in general is I get that you're taught from textbooks and you're taught this is what this is and this is supposed to work for this, but people are so, even though humans do have a baseline, excuse me, a baseline, and yes, there's certain things that are the same. Everybody really is their own individual person. Things may work the same and may have the same kind of triggers in the brain and this and that, but everybody responds just a little bit different. Everybody,
Well, I mean, and that's just to actual physical, like stuff based on biology and things like that.
yeah,
But, um, but yeah, when you start mixing in the conscious and the subconscious, that that really confuses things because you can't. There's a sort of level of blanket things you can do for physical, you know, issues
well,
to
depends
an
on who you
extent.
are. Yeah.
It depends on who you are, but there's a lot more things that are generally applicable to people's bodies physically, treatment for ailments that are physical. But when it comes to the brain, it's really every individual is pretty much dramatically different and probably requires some some very different therapies for seemingly very similar problems.
Yeah, well, the brain is affected by so much from hormones to surroundings to history to all sorts of things. So that makes sense and it has to be taken into account. Nash says that's why it's so important to keep the modalities mixed. Yeah. But you can really hear Suki's frustration in that poem.
Mm,
This little bit of customization, says Ash. Yes.
yes,
So thank you, Suki. And writing on
yes,
such an important subject. Yes, Harry, chemical imbalance is not going in a box. Exactly.
hmm, yeah. I mean, the brain is confusing anyway because like, no one knows how it works. So just trying to be like, yeah, this is going to sort your brain issue out, your mental issue out. It's kind of
You're welcome,
it's a little
Suki.
bit Russian roulette. But yeah, nice piece, relatable, I think.
Your turn.
Okay, fine.
Ash's strong
So
subject
next,
matter, Suki. You rock. Yes, absolutely rock. And roll.
next we have. Oh wait, I've scrolled past too many. And Angela next.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Angela underscore C underscore for change. And fanning flames with friends. I have read this one. We wander tender past pink myrtle bloom, no longer bright tomorrows we assume. Soft now, so silent is her poet's tongue. We've grown the days through pain since we'd begun. In heartbreak's change, we long for lighter days. Squint eyes propitious sun against her rays. To stand discovers brand new gate to come. Scars fade from brighter red, and then to plum. Prepare, let go. Through darker night we breathe. With friends afar, support will not yet grieve. Shared love of words they use to fan life's flame. Dismiss from mind, ignore maternal blame. Sanguine she paint the walls of paler beige, played on repeat, instructions, dying sage. A moment's veil lie open to my king, to room she sware was deafened by sharp ring. Our hope sunk deep in brand new burning skies. Lord, have new mercy every time she dies. And this is sweet and has some nice references in it. It's kind of
It does.
sad, but not really melancholy-ish. But
It's
it's all kind of positive moments and thoughts coming out of kind of melancholy situations, and just noticing the change. I think it's a lot about accepting the change of situations.
I was going to say, I think there's a hopeful reverence there.
Yeah, that's
And that,
nice. Far better put. Hopeful reference.
and Ash says it's a nice meter. Yeah, she has 10 syllables. Um, she plays in that 9-10 uh, syllable range on each line, mostly 10.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm just I'm trying to quietly
No,
count the
all 10.
syllables in the lines
All
now.
10. I think it's all 10. Yeah, it's all
Not.
10. No? No,
Oh yeah.
there's a
No, I
9.
think yeah. Oh, is there? I think I had a 9, but it's a 10.
Yeah, there's a 9. But they're mostly 10, so that gives it that nice, like Ash says, that nice meter
Hmm.
that's going. And there is a reverence of, to me, as I read it, I read this person who is going through something. Well, I know what every line means, so I it's hard not to read that into it. But
Hmm.
you read it and you see this person who is describing what they've gone through, what they're going through with this other person, and trying to find that positive, like you said, in all of these really hard things that have occurred, but seeking out that brightness, seeking out that hope, um, in each thing, and showing gratitude for it as well.
Hmm.
um, it's what I read
But and
anyway.
it's reflecting on your own feelings that are based on someone else's feelings that you're
Yeah,
watching go through something, but you're also going through it with them, in
yeah,
your way.
it's because we know what much of this is about. Reading it's like, oh, that's a nice way to put that.
Hmm.
That's very poetic.
Yeah,
It's Ash says it's growthful. Yes, it is
yes,
growthful.
definitely
Uh,
growthful, interesting. But yeah,
that's a
it shows a real awareness, I think, of things happening and the change and the sort of the gratitude almost, even though there's, you know, plenty of things to not be grateful about it, but there's this gratitude for the potential of what's coming
yeah,
next and the strength that's being found within weakened situations.
yeah. That's what I see especially, and then
The
you can
last
see
line
the
though is a
interest.
heavy hitting line.
Yeah. Well, you can see before it gets to that last line, you can see the introspection building. You can see that she's reforming her worldview in some ways, I think, as it
Hmm.
goes through, because she's being faced with these things that are kind of going, well, you think you got that? Boom. How about this one? How about this one? Because you kind of have to look at that. Ashes was a nice shout out to all referenced in her piece. Yeah,
Yes, definitely.
it was very nice of her. Yes.
And I
And
like
then,
that the line before last with the our hope sunk deep in brand new burning skies, and you're literally saying something is sinking with the rising of something else. You know,
yeah,
you're
I
talking
like
about a
that too.
sunrise, things sinking with the rise. That's cool.
And I really liked where she says played on repeat instructions dying sage, because what she's
Yes,
referring to there, I remember how she really, that meant so
very
much to her
specific,
in
and
that
that was
moment.
very
Um,
powerful. Yeah.
yeah. Um, And like you said, that last line, Lord have new mercy every time she dies. And that's like it's not been just once. It's this is a repeat thing, and wow,
Yeah,
there's please keep showing mercy. So I
and it is new, and the whole repeat thing. It doesn't make it any easier or more familiar. It's a new thing each time.
every
It's
time,
new mercy
yeah,
every time. It doesn't change the grandeur of the situation, the power of it.
yeah, it's it's a really beautiful poem that really walks.
Oh,
Welcome
that's weird.
back. That was. I was like,
Yeah,
no.
it just said that it started again. So it's just started the clock on the live for me,
How
like I just
wild.
joined it, which is weird.
Really, that is weird. Ash says it's a heavy piece. Yes, it's a very heavy piece, especially.
Yeah.
I like also. So I like this one line because for me, even though I know what it means, I kind of take it two different ways. So the shared love of words they use to fan life's flame. I know what that means there, but I also take it in a different way as well because they have a shared love of words. And I think
Yes.
that their shared love of words also fans life's flame. Um,
For sure. I wouldn't be surprised if that was intentional,
probably,
because the
probably.
way it's broken, it's broken into two. Because as far as I can remember, that is the way she arranged it, broken into those two separate pieces, wasn't it?
Oh,
So the fact
really?
that I think so, I think it's on two different slides like this.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I'm pretty
I
sure. So
remember reading it.
those two lines are separate. With friends of our support will not yet grieve. But yeah, so I like the fact that that does apply specifically
Yeah,
to some people or specifically to others. I think that's cool.
yeah, I think it's really pretty. So it's a beautiful poem, Angela. And Ash says she's nodding and says thank you. It's gorgeous. You can
She's
feel the
nodding. It's
love.
like I
You
know,
can feel the
I
love.
know.
She's like, I know what I wrote. I got
she's
it.
she's she's doing the real life nails emoji thing right now. Just sat there nodding.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's good.
Y'all go on with yourselves.
Yeah.
She says it's dual, says Ash. So yeah, I really like that
Yes,
line
that makes
because it was
sense.
really smart. So thank you, Angela. And those 10 syllable lines, dude. Sorry. I had to. Well, it's hard. It's hard to do. Anyway, you go.
It is tricky to get that using the same syllables over and over. So,
Next. Oh, me. We have cracks filled with gold poetry. Ashley. Cracks filled with gold poetry. And this is called My Silence Be My Serenity. Why are you so quiet? Because my tongue has been cut off at the base of your words, axed into no longer a tool I can use, but you'll use it for me. Seems you always know what to say. Never curious. I suppose it wasn't the cat that got my tongue. Why are you so quiet? Because I suffocate on the billowing smoke you blow from your charcoal lungs. Acceleration of a midnight train going nowhere, derailed, my heart impaled in the wreckage, and you walk over my lifeless body. As long as you're okay, just let me be. I'll take care of me. My silence be my serenity.
hmm,
I read this one before, and I will
I
acknowledge
haven't read this one.
I'm not sure what she's talking about. My mind goes in a couple of different directions, but because I know in her writing, well, she talks about love and she also talks about um, addiction and things like that a lot as well in her writing. So I can go down either path with this.
Hmm.
And I'm not sure which is the right one, or maybe they're both right. Ash says, "Ooh, Ashley, yeah." So I can hear her talking to herself in her mind, or like the addict talking to herself in her mind aspect of it. But I can also hear some jerk doing it as well,
Hmm.
and I don't know which. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel like the question asking is kind of passive aggressive. Like, why are you so
Yeah.
quiet? Rather than why are you so quiet?
Oh, oh, I see. I see.
Never curious. Hmm. It's like, why are you so quiet? And then the honesty, because I suffocate on the billowing smoke you blow from your charcoal lungs. A
So what
midnight
a
train going
chart.
nowhere.
Yeah, it's as you walk over my lifeless
Personality being,
body.
yeah, personality being split in two. My tongue has been cut off at the base of your words, axed in two. Can't even speak because whatever you say is going to get used against you. Feels like a conversation with an abusive partner.
That's what I meant. It could be, well, I know whenever she's
That
wrote
just isn't
before
listening.
addiction, it was abusive as well. So that's why I was like, I don't know which it is. It's definitely
Yes,
something isn't listening,
but I
but
think
I
that
don't know.
abuse, addiction, and obsession and love tie in with each other completely because a lot of the Nine Inch Nails music that I listened to, a lot of it was written about a relationship with drugs, but it just
Hmm.
completely translates to a
It does.
relationship with just a person or anything that you have a love or obsession, a love hate relationship with. And I think it's all very similar.
Yeah. I like
That
that.
as long as you're okay. After that description, the
Yeah, just
suffocate on the billowing smoke, it's like as long as you're okay. Walk over my lifeless body as long as you're okay. It's just leave me alone.
I doubt people do that. I love that she threw that in there because how are you doing? I want to die, and this is this, and I feel like this. Oh, okay.
Mm.
You know,
So you just
it's
feel
some.
better in your silence. So the silence is serenity because if you speak up, it just makes it worse.
It does. You can't if you take the time to go out and actually open up and say something to someone, and they're just like, oh, that's just like,
Yeah, I'd rather you didn't ask.
mhm,
Why
yeah.
ask?
So I really like this, and I love her use of the train of that, all the words and the word play that she used um, with it.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I think I especially like that second section. Just because of that, because I suffocate on the billowing smoke you blow from your charcoal, and it's like that.
yeah, I do too. I do too. Thank you, Ashley.
Yeah, a great little piece. And so next we oh wait, that was something in hold on. Yes,
Broken Blue
broken blue
Pill.
pen. Yes.
Yes.
So broken underscore blue underscore pen, a car shuffling. Flashes of a writer, nay, a poet, show up from time to time through the mire of weirdness. I see it in the mirror. but a mirror will show me absolutely anything I desire to see. The challenge is to look at my reflection with truth, to be honest with myself about who I am looking at. Understand that it's okay to fail, to realize that I can be and at times I am successful. I'm not always the failure staring back at me. Accept that even though I always have room to improve, I don't have to be perfect. It's okay to receive myself as I am. This is the thing. There are a few good things about me, and I am not the only one that knows.
And he pushed past his fear and read that to us.
Nice. I haven't
And
heard it.
that, no,
Read. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it. Are they all still in the
I
chat
don't know
stuff?
if they're all still there because people had permission once we heard them to delete them if they wanted to, if
That's
they
what I
put
know,
them
and I
in the
know
chat.
some of them, the way they were posted, it was like that timed thing. So if you've seen it, you can't go back
Oh, were
and
they?
watch it. I think a
I
couple of
didn't
them.
know
It
that.
depends on how you share it. I don't know. Some of them might not have intentionally done it, but it's like if you share it from outside the chat, it's different from being in the chat and posting within the chat. If you know
Oh,
what I
I
mean, like
see.
using the
Yeah.
icons. So sometimes it'll show up as a temporary file that just says video or whatever, and you only get a chance to like view it once or twice.
I didn't
But if
realize
it
that.
comes up, if it comes up with a preview of the thing, it will stay there, and you can keep going back to watch it.
Then, yeah, I think there were a few that were like that. I like this though because, well, one, just like so many of the other people, he has a great reading voice,
Mhm.
um, which is always nice. And then, two, I just like that self introspective look at oneself and the journey. And he does that a lot. So much of his poetry, I mean, he writes on mythology and other things as well. But a lot of his poetry is looking at himself and describing where he is on his journey.
Yeah,
But
that's one of my favorite things to do is go for that, like writing about writing, writing about yourself.
yeah, and he does that really well. And then I like that he's like, you know what? And I like that he's actually calling himself that. Flashes of a poet, nay. I mean, flashes of a writer, nay, a poet. And he's actually
Mhm.
saying, you know what? I am a poet. I am this. Um, and that
It's
he
a
takes
tougher
us
thing to
along that.
tell people about yourself as well when you say poet. It's a weirder thing to state to people generally. Like if you say you're a writer, people are like, oh, that's interesting. It's almost, yeah, I get it. Writer, stories, movies, whatever. But if you specifically say poet, you'll tend to get a different reaction than if you
Yeah.
say writer. If you go straight in with poet, almost like
Yes.
it's not a thing. Like
Yeah.
writers, like, oh yeah, that's cool. Writer. It's like I'm a poet. Like,
Aren't you
really?
precious?
Is that
Yeah.
yeah yeah? It's the
Aren't
sort
you
of thing. But
precious?
yeah.
But I like that he goes through that and he takes us through the journey of going, this is what I see, but no, it's only going to see what I want it to be or what I tell myself it is. And then he's like, to be honest with myself about who I'm looking at, to understand that it's okay to fail. I mean, he really takes us through all of these struggles that so many people have. And then at that very and the acknowledging that I don't have to be perfect. It's okay to receive myself as I am. And then those last two lines, there are a few good things about me, and I am not the only one that knows. To just be able to settle into that and go, you know what? I'm not that bad.
Mm.
And
I
other
think
people
that's
know
one
it
of the
too.
hardest things. One of the hardest things for the writers and poets and probably artists in general is to actually say that you're any good.
Yeah.
Because pretty much everyone that I've spoken to, like saying these people have amazing reading voices, but it's ironic that they don't want to hear it. It's awful, embarrassing, and cringy. But anyone else around would be like, "Oh, that sounds amazing! You were
Yeah.
born for this kind of thing." And like,
Yeah.
no, no, no. I
Yeah.
think a lot of and that shows a lot of people's writing is that
It
it's
does.
challenging just to share it, let alone speak it and share that. Because
Yeah.
a lot of people write from a place of vulnerability and use it to express things that you can't in normal ways of normal ways of speaking.
Yes.
So it's difficult when you have this sort of veil of anonymity, so to speak, especially when posting or just writing in general, because your face isn't there unless you're standing up and reading it. So to put those two together can be quite daunting.
Yeah, and I think that's amazing that so many people that do write from an anonymous place, or maybe they give their name, but if their faces aren't out there, a name's a name. It can be any name,
Mm.
but they actually put their voice to the poems, and they went for it. That is so cool. I mean, that's I think it's amazing, and I think it's amazing to have that sudden. It's always just makes your heart glow and warm when you're talking to someone, be they a poet or a writer or an artist or a musician or whatever it is that they're doing. And you know it's been a struggle, or they've doubted themselves, or they don't think they're good enough. But if you ever catch when that spark hits, where they're like, maybe I'm good enough, I could do something with this. If you catch when that hits, oh, that's like, it's it's a squeak moment. It's just a squeak moment. It's so exciting to see. And Ash is clapping. Yeah, I mean, it's lovely. So this is a moment.
That's so high pitched.
Sorry for your ears.
Balance the audio.
Yeah, sorry. But it's really, I'm just going to keep doing this so you keep grabbing your head. Um, but this is really cool, Blue. I really liked it. I just like that self introspective honesty look of it.
Yeah. And so next,
Next, we have
Caroline.
Caroline Creative Caroline underscore Creative Corner. And this is Best Friend's Father's Advice. The pill. Mr. Santa Cruz, a pharmaceutical representative, advised us in our 1966 virginal axis of 16. Ow! Are you done?
What? Sorry.
Oh, everything. It's okay. It's okay. So, that's you just getting me back for the squeaks. I get it. It's okay.
I didn't even realize that would make noise. I suppose it's got a flipping microphone somewhere around where I touched it.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on, please.
Best friend's father's advice. The pill. Mr. Santa Cruz, a pharmaceutical representative, advised us at our 1966 virginal ages of 16 not to take the birth control pill. Not enough research has been done on that brilliant new thing. Gail, 60 years later, has no memory of that conversation. It made a big impression on me. A friend's father talking about sex? 1970, a new bride, our family doctor warned, protect your gonads. I was working on my degree. Not ready for chains of motherhood. He recommends using an intrauterine device. The hammer-like cramping pains were immense. Had I made a huge mistake? The only absence of pain came with relief of lying between borders of my brother's waterbed, a gully of soothing waves. Mamma, observing from the doorway of his room, concerned at her daughter being gripped by experience of pain, body's attempt to expel that foreign invader past the borders of childhood skin knees. 3 years later, all of a sudden, I was pregnant. I had recently noticed a tiny article in the paper. Aspirin nullifies IUDs. I had been taking Dristan for allergies. Oh, they contained aspirin. Dr. Sanders told me that he needed to remove the IU. It might cause a miscarriage. However, Laura was tough. From the very beginning, her embryonic self could not be peeled away.
That's a great story. I like the way that's told.
Yeah.
That's got that playfulness dancing around, just some madness there.
Yeah, and that's
An interesting
intrauterine. Thank you,
kind of
Ash.
historic,
I
yes,
appreciate it.
intrauterine. Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And you know, I appreciate when you do it. So I appreciate that you can't help yourself. And Overlord says, I have never seen Harry without headphones. It is so strange. And Ash says it unfolded well. And this is Caroline loves to write about her life and what's happened in her life. That is her favorite
Mm.
form and subject, I think. And she did it so well. It's very humor. It's got the wit, but it also has that almost broadcaster journalist. I read it like an announcement sort of uh thing,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
how
I can see that.
like Caroline from
Yes.
New
The pill,
Orleans
Mr.
was.
Santa Cruz, a pharmaceutical representative, advised
Yes.
us at our
Oh, well, now
1966
you need to
virginal
wait, wait,
ages of
wait, wait, wait,
16.
wait. Stop, stop, stop. Read it in that voice.
That
Read it
kind
in
of
that voice. Read
radio
it in that
radio
voice.
broadcaster.
Read it in that voice. Well, your fault. Read it in that voice.
I'll do it all quickly now.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Read it in how the voice would be done. Read the voice. Toot, toot, toot.
And give me instructions where I just randomly did something and then
Do it.
instruct me on how to do it.
Do
Just,
it.
okay, I'll try. Um, the pill, Mr. Santa Cruz, a pharmaceutical representative, advised us at our 1966 virginal ages of 16 not to take the birth control pill. Not enough research has been done on that brilliant new thing. Gail, 60 years later, has no memory of that conversation. It made a big impression on me, a friend's father talking about sex. 1970, a new bride. Our family doctor warned, protect your gonads. I was working on my degree, not ready for chains of motherhood. He recommended using an intrauterine device. The hammer like cramping pains were immense. Had I made a huge mistake? The only evidence of pain came with relief of lying between borders of my brother's waterbed, a gully of soothing waves. Mama, observing from the doorway of his room, concerned at her daughter being gripped by experience of pain, body's attempts to expel that foreign invader, past the borders of childhood skinned knees. 3 years later, all of a sudden, I was pregnant. I had recently noticed a tiny article in the paper. Aspirin nullifies IUDs. I had been taking Dristan for allergies. Oh, they contained aspirin. Dr. Sanders told me that he needed to remove the IU. It might cause a miscarriage. However, Laura was tough from the very beginning. Her embryonic self could not be peeled away.
And Ash says, read, read. And then I bet she'll love that Harry shows off how well it's written. Yes, I think she will too. And
Yes,
and
just that
she's
show how
also
well
read
it
it on
is.
her page as well. Um, but that, yeah, I liked your reading of it much better than mine. That was amazing. And Suki says, I think my favorite subjects and forms should be done again sometime. These are all so, so good. We've talked about, yeah, we've got something planned on that. So it's going to come up again in a way, different way, but it is going to come up again.
Yes, I'm sure variations can be made.
But this was really cool, Carolyn. I like that you talked about such an important subject and you gave us a peek into your life. And I love that you're like, oh, my friend doesn't remember this, but I do because it was important. I like the way that I it cracked me up. There's two parts that cracked me up. First, the virginal ages of 16, because I the whole advised us on our 1966 virginal ages of 16, because in 66, 16 you must be a virgin. And then I also like that the family doctor warned, protect your gonads. That was always said even when I was younger, protect your gonads. And so I like that she used that phrasing because, and she brought in the water beds. I mean, she really took us on a time loop. Uh,
Hmm. But I like the normalization and the humorous, not, I mean, it is kind of humorous and lighthearted way of talking about these very specific and invasive things that women have to go through when it comes to birth control. And there have been some
yes,
bananas things that you guys have got to, and still have options to do, which just, yeah, I think invasive is the right word, whether you're talking about the pill or whether you're talking about the keep wanting to say yes, IUD.
yes. And ashes, I love the end, embryonic and peeling. Yes, her embryonic self could not be peeled away. That's such an interesting and point on way of explaining it. um, but I love the way she calls out to her daughter, basically, nope, my daughter's tough, has been from the beginning. Uh, so there's love there. It's
Hmm.
it's a beautiful poem.
Yeah,
So
nicely
thank you,
done.
Caroline. And I hope you enjoy Harry's newscaster reading. Very graphic. Love it. Exactly, Ash. It's very graphic.
Yeah,
And your
but it's
reading
good.
wasn't
I like
strange.
that
It was
kind of
cool.
thing. It's graphic, but in the correct way. It's not graphic in a shocking way. It's graphic
Yeah.
in a sort of matter of fact kind of way. I
Yes.
think that's one of those important things in normalizing, especially stuff like that, because I for sure know that stereotypical guys will feel awkward talking about, like talking about any kind of sanitary product or anything like that. It's
Yeah.
got that same kind of can you just talk about that with yourselves kind of don't mention that around us, which is just ridiculous.
Weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but especially when you're talking about things that are being put in place essentially for you, that you could have a
Yeah.
level of a balance of control, but the idea that there's all of way more options for women to do it. You women sort out your response. It's not
Yeah.
your body, your choice. It's your body, your responsibility, which is
I remember when I got with my
weird.
ex, and the first time I needed to go get tampons or pads or something. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to have to go in the store. And he was like, oh, I got it. And I was like, wait, what? And so
That would make a
he
double
was
take.
always, yeah, he was always very easy to talk about on things like that, and didn't shy away from any of it, didn't try to hide things as he'd go up to the counter or talk to the doctor. And in the
Because that
beginning,
is weird.
that was a very new experience for me. So I was just like, huh, this occurs. How refreshing. I think I was more embarrassed about it than he was, to be honest, which was, I don't know, it's a growth thing. So I think that happens a lot, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
nice to see when men are okay talking about things like that. And
Oh, but for sure, in my experience, most are still uncomfortable about talking, or would feel odd or have that, even if it's a kind of playful reaction. Like if a girl said, if you go into the shops, like, do you need any things? Or could you grab me a packet of sanitary towels or something? And they'd be like awkward about it or not want to do it. It's like, can you not just do it later? It's like, but what are you embarrassed about? Are you
exactly.
embarrassed about someone thinking they're for you? Because that would be an odd thing. I
It's a
don't know
taught
where it comes from.
it's a cultural taught thing, isn't it? Because in so many cultures, I mean, just even the act of menstruating has been a taboo subject. It's seen as, I mean, they separate women literally, or they won't let women go into temple. There's this whole uh, thing around it, and then there's the whole, well, it makes people weak sort of aspect, because I know in some places as soon as you're on your period, that's like, oh, you're on your period, which there are periods that are horrific, but not everyone is. And so it's just seen as this other than thing that
Mhm.
separates men and women. And if it wasn't seen that way, if we didn't pass it down and talk about it and make those uncomfortable jokes and stuff like that, young boys wouldn't know to act that way. If we treated it as just normal
Mm.
every day, then they would treat it as normal every day. And the
Yeah,
girls would too. There wouldn't be any embarrassment about it if nobody made a big deal out of it. It's because such a big deal is made about it, and that shame sort of thing is placed on girls when they're young, that it becomes this big thing.
yeah.
And so it's cool that there
Well,
are people
the
who are
irony
able
that there's
to.
this and there's that weird element of shame behind it, but then these items that they're meant to be ashamed of are luxury luxury
Mhm.
items and taxed as so. Oh, that's so ridiculous.
It is. And you're shamed about the very thing that literally helps bring
You can
life
do
into the world.
yeah, and you can
It
do
wouldn't
nothing about. You
exist.
have no control over as well.
No, it's
It's
just weird. We're weird.
silly, really. It's
We are.
just silly. Humans are
And
silly.
we are. And Overlord says apparently I got around an IUD to be conceived too.
Fair
Tenacious.
play to you.
And Ash says, Overlord, you
Tenacious.
were meant to be. And Overlord says, absolutely, Ash. And Ash says, that's cool for anyone. Comfort. Yeah, it was. It was very nice. I like it.
That image of getting round an IUD just sounds like covert. Whoa.
You should make an animation.
Nope, that'd be weird.
That'd be cool. So your turn.
My turn. I think we're
Yes.
all. Oh, damn it! It's pinged me up. Um, yes. Yeah, we're on Sharon, right? Inksomnia.
Yes.
Inksomnia underscore poetry. Um, an untitled piece. You are my favorite. There is no doubt. With you, I feel comfortable and relaxed. I am who I am, totally myself. I can live my best life, and that's a fact. When I met you, love was immediate. With you, I had found my forever home. You must be the secret ingredient. The light you shine has surely helped me grow. Together, we are safe in our bubble, protected from the madness of this life. You and I really are the best couple. I feel like I was meant to be your wife. You are my favorite, and I am yours. That's a fact of which I'm totally sure.
Oh, I like the way you read it because I can so hear how she reads when she does her sonnets like this.
Oh,
Sometimes
that's cool.
you have some of the same inflections. So that was really cool. Uh, and this is clearly her favorite topic is her husband,
Yeah,
that
and that
she
was
loves
nice.
and adores, and she loves her different sonnet styles that she does and a rhyme on the end. I like
Yes,
it. It's so
it
sweet.
threw me off with the rhyme scheme and then the not rhyming couplet at the end.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
yours
that's
and
nice.
shore is yours and shore
Yeah,
can it's a
yeah,
half rhyme. Ash says it's sweet and doting. Uh, and they're talking about
yeah,
look who's talking. You watch old movies, Overlord.
yeah. That's
Uh,
a great movie.
it
Look Who's
is,
Talking.
but they
A
did too many
fantastic
of
movie.
them. And Overlord
First
says,
one is just
"Wonderful
kills
piece,
it though. It's
Sharon."
amazing.
The first one was good, but I just like the yeah, I like the sweetness of it. And
Yeah, and
together
it's
we are
simple
safe
and
in our
sweet.
bubble, protected from the madness of this life. I like a couple who likes to be in a bubble together because that's just my idea of a couple. I need to shut up, but I
And
like
just
that.
yeah, it's just simply you and I really are the best couple because that it can you get quite a stereotypical dynamic of husband and wife where it becomes like, oh, look who I ended out with kind of thing. And even though it's playful and stuff, that can become
Yeah.
how you refer to each other, you know, the old ball and chain and all this and that.
Yeah.
But it's so it makes this kind of thing more striking when you're just like, nope,
It does.
you're great and I'm great and we're great
We're
together,
awesome
and
together.
yeah, and you don't have
Yeah.
to worry because you're not playing up for other people.
Yeah.
You're not trying to hide because you're embarrassed of just nope, I love this person and that's that, and nothing else
Yes.
matters, and it
Yeah.
doesn't, and
I
that's your
really like
bubble.
that.
If you're happy within it, that's a good bubble to be in.
I think so too. I think so too. And even though some of what she says is quite cliche, but it's said in such a loving, it's meant way. She's not
Mm.
using it in that cliche kind of way. Like I feel I was meant to be your
And
wife.
that's
I
why
mean,
they
she's using
exist,
that's
isn't
why
it?
they
It's
exist
like
in their
why
bubble. Yes.
stereotypes exist. It's like, yep, but embrace it.
Yeah.
That's, people have repeated those things because they are repeatable things.
Yes. And I like that even at her age, because she's older than I am, by a bit, she still says in that final couplet, "You are my favorite, and I am yours." That's a fact of which I'm totally sure, and I don't come across many women my age and older that will just lay down that fairy tale esque. I'm his favorite. He's my favorite. That is a fact, and I know it. And I
But
love
she's
that
got
she
a
does
very,
that.
regardless of her age, you look back and a lot of her pieces have very youthful,
Youthful.
playful energy to them. You know,
Yeah.
she's not afraid to get silly or kind of
No,
spicy and stuff
or
like that, which
spicy.
you
She
don't
loves her
tend to
spicy.
associate with, yeah, you know, certain
Yeah.
ages, whether it's male or female. But the
Yeah. Sharon's
playfulness is
awesome.
there. Yeah,
I
good
like it.
fun.
Beautiful Sharon. And next we have Kenmani Curel. And I don't,
Oh, you don't know how you're going to read this.
I think I
This was a
do.
cool one to end on.
Yeah. I'm just not sure on those top parts. Do I read them as well? Of the swirlies going up with the steam?
I
Does it
probably
start
would
with that?
start. I personally would start with that.
Okay.
It is the shape of a cup of coffee and there's steam
Yes.
lines, so it's all written to form an image, which is interesting.
And that is a style of poetry whose name I cannot remember at this time, but
Hmm.
apparently that
I've
is
seen a lot of people do it.
her favorite form of poetry. Um, and she says, "All's well that ends well. Life, life in a hot coffee, so highly caffeinated, sipping tea in black. Mind without expectations, numbing and piping hot cup before my eyes, my life swept away. Hold your breath, for this is the end. Feel all worlds collide and crumble. Heart drums up with palpitations. This is the moment I dreamt of tea. Oh, wait, starting over. Got that wrong. Sorry. Life in a hot coffee, so highly caffeinated, sipping tea in black. Mind without expectations, numbing and piping hot cup of tea. Before my eyes, my life swept away. Hold your breath, for this is the end. Feel all worlds collide and crumble. Heart drums up with palpitations. This is the moment I dreamt. Soul drowned and gone. Skyfall whipped off. Never again. Hardest mental battle with all its arms lost in all glory. Yearning for the love that will never come in any time.
Well, that was good timing. You managed to read it just before the train started blaring.
Yeah, that's
I'm
so when I
interested
first
by the "and piping hot cup of tea" line. I'm wondering whether that does come in at the
I know I'm
where it looks
torn
like it's
because
coming, or whether it comes in at the very
both.
end. I'm wondering.
Yeah, I couldn't tell because if it's the piping hot cup of T, it's flip, but then when you read it, maybe it's both. I don't know. Ken Monty, help us. I'm not sure which
Yes.
it is.
Explain yourself.
But but as I read it, along with what the subject matter is, there's little lines in there that make me think of movies and make me think of music, of songs, and I don't know if it's just me hearing, older songs that I heard or movie phrases or if it's intentional. I'm not sure. Uh, but that made me smile. And then there's just the sadness of it, or just the mind without expectations, numbing, and piping hot cup of tea. So you can, I don't do the coffee thing, but there are times when you're just like really down, really, really down over what you perceive the outlook of your life to
Hmm.
be. And you just go grab a cup of, for me, it's either chai or or like a herbal tea or a hot chocolate. And then you just sit
Never
there with
heard
that
someone
really,
refer
really.
to chai tea as kai tea like you do it
I
for
know. I
everything.
always say chai. I know, and everybody says chai. I think it's because I used to. I first heard it as kai, and so that's what I started calling it, and so it's become a habit. And now I know I'm wrong, but I still have that habit, um, so I don't catch myself. But you're sitting there like you hold the cup, and it's really freaking hot, and the steam is coming up and the liquid is really freaking hot and you're probably going to scald your tongue, but because of where your mind is, you're just like.
Hmm.
And so she really paints that heart drums up with palpitations, feel all the worlds collide and crumble, soul drowned and gone. I mean, you can really feel the desolation of it, I think.
I just get lost in the arrangement of it. Each time I try and focus on a line, I start drifting off and looking at the arrangement. I think it's because I just keep trying to piece the and piping hot cup of tea bit. But maybe that's intentional.
Yeah. Well, I like the one at the top where she says sipping tea in black. That's very different than sipping black tea. I mean, it implies the tea is black, but it also,
Hmm.
can imply your mood, can imply the color, can imply everything. And then the couplet, hardest mental battle with all its arms lost in all glory, yearning for the love that will never come in any time.
Yeah, that's kind of a sad
I
way.
mean,
I mean, the fact that it's
that's
called "All's Well That Ends Well," and the last line is yearning for the love that will never come in any time.
well, maybe the all's well that ends well is almost sardonic. I don't know. I mean,
Hmm.
um, yeah, this is kind of heartbreaking. But I think, well, me as an over 50 single woman who does not get out there much because introverted, can kind of look at this and go, yeah, been there. That sucks. It's not a thought you like having,
Hmm.
but
But and those are the kind of thoughts that you dwell on when you're sat with your hot beverage, kind of lamenting.
exactly, exactly. So I like it. And I just like that she literally made it look like a cup of tea or
Yes.
coffee. Like, even got the little indention and everything and the saucer. I mean, to get the words for that is pretty amazing. So,
Yeah, it's a clever arrangement, and it doesn't look like the words have been, you can arrange it so the words space themselves differently.
yeah, she
So
didn't
it
do
looks like
that.
it's actually just been calculatedly written to create the shape rather than forcing larger spaces between words.
She's always a very clever writer and really brilliant in her word choice. And she's always written to so many prompts. And it's just her writing always has it's a lot there's a lot more depth than on its face. I always find when I read her stuff that I go back and read it a second and a third and a fourth time because I know I'm going to find more. And I'm just like,
Mhm.
oh, uh, and Overlord says, yes, fabulous and wonderful. She put it on the slide for me. Yes. So when you read this, Ken Money did that because the Overlord was in panic mode and going, I don't know how I'm going to do that. And I was like, I don't know how you're going to do that. And so Ken Money totally did it and did it really beautifully well.
Yes, that's from one extreme to another with my just block of text and then this shape made out of words.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah,
great. And so thank you guys for
yeah, that
writing
was
to
pretty
the
good.
prompts so much. And we have, let
All
me
of the
scroll.
variety, the
Was
nice
it
variety,
removed?
and they all had those personalities to them as well. So if
Yeah.
anyone reads the poetry of any of these poets, you'd know that that was one of
Yes,
theirs
that was
for
that
sure,
person. And I'm
for
trying to
sure.
find where all the gold tickets were listed because I know that the Overlord put there they are. So
Literally just
we
below, isn't
had
it?
yeah, but it when I clicked off it went back up.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, um we had 13 gold tickets tonight. And so the 13 were Sharon, Caroline, Blue, Ashley, Sookie, Mercury, Richard, Mel, Stephen, Ash, Leslie, Feifei, and me. All went for the gold. I think that this is both a record-breaking participation night and a record-breaking gold ticket night. So,
Well done, everyone.
yeah, wow, is that a it absolutely is a Ash. Oh, record. Yes, a record. Um, so well done, everybody. That was amazing. And we hope that y'all will come back and write to these because I happen to love the words for this. And I really want to see somebody use those two other ones and just see what they can do with it. And and I really hope somebody goes for the gold ticket because I'm not, but I hope somebody else will because I want to see what that can be done too. But I will
You're
just
like,
screw it up.
surely
Richard,
Richard has got,
Richard,
yeah,
that's what
surely
I'm
he's got to be
hoping.
able to nail that one. We want
I'm
a bit of
hoping so.
darkness, a darkness to our loonies. That's going to be interesting.
Yes. Yes. And Overlord says, I'm glad everyone came back from vacation.
Yes, Overlord was getting anxious,
Oh,
and
that,
then
yeah.
all of a sudden, they just flooded in.
Flew in. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So this was amazing. So all of y'all go right to this one and go right to the one that's for Friday because the one that's for Friday is actually pretty open, really.
And it
It's
means the lives
amazing
that we do when
world.
reading the lives that we do reading poetry will actually have to be filled with poetry and not just 2 hours of
Talking.
rambling and half an hour of reading
Yes.
people's poems.
Yes.
So you guys did well with keeping us busy.
You did, and it was nice.
But again,
And it was just nice getting because there are some because it was nice getting to see all the voice well almost all of the voices who are in the society and showcasing that that difference that varied uh
that varied
poetic voice
variety.
of each yeah because
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing because often people will start sounding like each other or playing off of each other and things and even though we pick up little things here and there everybody's really maintained their own
Yeah.
voice, and that's beautiful.
Yeah. And it's nice seeing when people throw in references as well to
It
what they're
is.
picking up, and just because your art reflects life and all that nonsense. So how can
Yes,
you
all
not
that
when you
nonsense.
spend time with people because we're artists, don't you know?
Yes. So it's really nice. I enjoyed tonight. Thank you, Harry. Thank you,
Thank you
Overlord, and
for having
everybody who
me.
came in the room.
Yeah,
And
thanks everyone for writing. That was great.
yes, and Overlord says, That's all, folks. Look at you
Yes.
giving out your hints. And so we are going to say good night to everybody. And I believe since I've done it the last few times and I have put it in there for you, you get to do it tonight.
What reads this
Yes.
spiel?
Yes, the spiel.
Cool. So the Society of Secretly Perfect Poets. We are the voices beyond the din. We are the cats who will always win. We are poets of imagination, creativity, and meow scratching alphabetical dexterity. We search for clues and hunt for treats. We base our prose on instinctual beats. We keep a sharp eye towards various causes. We attract certain types of poetic pauses. We have a propensity for finding the fun when not being studiously serious with puns. We are the voices above the fray, with a safe space for those with something to say.
Good night.
Good night.